This night, a new power is rising. Its victory is at hand.
You Comic Book Creation Live. What's going on, Kev?
What's the word, man? How you feeling? Oh,
great.
my mustard.
This is
my Wi-Fi fucking up. Stuttered a little bit. Oh,
delayed maybe.
Here we go.
This is the only show where you could see an entire comic book being made from start to finish. Today we're inking a couple pages from issue number 1. I'm working on 35. It looked like you were working on page 30 the last time we were on.
I believe that is it. I'll double check right now in a minute. I'm just setting up the other camera.
Nice.
Setting
I want
up the little guy.
Pull up those songs that you don't like. Let me see if I can get those up.
The slow joints.
We didn't make it through the parts last time that like there's some good songs past the songs that I like, but we didn't get there last time. I ended up pausing it. Let me see if I can get back to that point. Maybe I can fast forward past them songs. Let's see.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Got some good drawing songs on our other channel, Comic Book Creation. I put up some music videos with some YouTube songs we can't get striked with. So that's where I'm going to right now.
Royalty free fuckery.
Oh, it's got to be in my history.
All right. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
So what'd you do today?
Bunch of shit. Whole lot of shit. Working PT.
Oh yeah, how'd that go? Was that for your shoulder or your ankle?
I go for both now, man.
And what do they do for your what do they do for your ankle or foot?
Yes, it's they got like a bunch of like crazy retarded names for things, man. Like I gotta do a gas pedal. It's like when you take a rubber band and you hook it over your foot and you just push the gas pedal.
Oh.
Then there's an inverted one where you put it on top and you pull it up. Forgot what that one was called though. TK, what up, man?
TK is here.
TK's in the hizzle.
T to the mother. Hey!
Ooh,
baby, I like it,
bro. What is a good word?
Right.
What was that?
He's got a couple.
Yeah, man.
They're all TK though.
It's all TK, man. It's all TK.
Being here.
I got this other fucking other cam set up.
Awesome.
Don't know how it's looking though. Can't see nada.
All right, I'll pull it up in a second. We do have a special guest.
It is possible. Absolutely no margin for error.
What's
There he
up,
is.
man?
What's going on,
Hey,
Matthew?
what you guys doing? What are
What's
you guys doing?
the word?
Just getting ready to
What
pull up
is
Kevin's
up?
image
TK's
here.
in the
There
house.
we
This
are.
song?
Oh, I didn't hear a word you just said.
Oh, wait, can you guys hear me?
No, I can hear.
Yeah.
I think my
I was
Wi-Fi is
talking over
acting
you.
crazy.
Oh no, it's okay. I just wasn't sure. Yeah, TK's in the house. What's up, TK? What's up, Space? What's up, Kev?
What is
What's the
going
good
on?
word, man? Just here, same old, same old. Oh,
Yeah, I
what's
did
up?
another
Nice,
one of those
nice.
diamond discussions today. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, who
Oh,
with?
nice.
I forget her name off the top of my head right now, so shame on me. But that's probably because now that's like the 27th one or something.
Oh, congratulations! That's awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, that's I gotta get you guys on. I've been I mean, you guys have been busy, but like one of these days, right? We gotta have you guys on there and like individually do like 30 or 40 minutes, something like that. I had to think about it too, where I was like, should I have you guys both on at the same time, or should I just do it individually? I think it'd be cool to do it individually. That way, you guys could talk crap about each other.
Get both takes on it. Yeah, I'm with that. That'd be cool as hell.
Yeah, because that's what it is. The diamond discussions are just artists like you guys, and I don't mean artists like only drawing artists. I mean artists like actors, directors, screenwriters, regular or unleaded writers, supreme writers, if you will. But you know what I'm saying, like just all of it. I was also just commenting to someone recently too, where I was like, yo, like you got to understand too, these guys not only draw their own comic, but they also write. It's not like, yo, we do the art, but like the writer is this guy William or something like that. You know, it's like you could totally see that in a comic book. Like you could see how maybe someone would be like, I just do the artwork. I don't do any of the story, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like I try to make that point of view when I tell people about Albatross Junction. I'm like, so yo, these guys are both writing and drawing, and that's easy for people to like overlook and just be like, what, a comic book? That's way easier than a book, and that doesn't take work at all. I'd be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's still a story, man. You got to make a entire story make sense.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, it would be one thing if some idiot out there, I hate to be weird about it, but like, imagine if they were like, oh, it must be nice to just draw a bunch of pictures and then put like oomph, arg, crack. And you're like, yeah, it's slightly different.
That's what people think I do anyway, man, for my 9 to 5.
Just put
crack.
Like, right, I imagine crack.
Yeah. I tell people I'm a designer. They're like, yeah, man, so you draw, right? What do you draw? I'm like, no, I'm a graphic designer. I'm like, yeah, so what do you draw? I'm like, you fucking idiot.
You're like, well, maybe graphic and designer, those two words together just make your brain just, you know, they just melt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like my first instance of people putting comic books and graphic design together was I went to college. I was at community college. So I was at junior college, whatever, for the first time. And they say,
what year? Around what year do you think that was? By the way,
this was like 1996, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was there, and they go, so what do you want to do? You know, I was in the art department. They're like, so what do you want to like major in? What do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to draw comic books. And they go, okay, we're going to put you in the graphic design class. So it was like immediate. So it was like, I want to draw comics to, okay, you're graphic design major. So I don't know how they came to that, but that like, that's what my school did. They were like, oh, okay, comic books, graphic design.
They just wanted you off the line, bro. They want you off the line. They're like, next.
They might have. Well, it's funny you guys mentioned this thing because there's some little information that some people don't really know about the whole George Lucas thing and like Francis Ford Coppola being his mentor. But anyway, really quick, it's like you guys probably know this, but I would say a lot of the guests or people or watchers might not. Is like, so George Lucas originally he wanted to be an anthropologist. Like, if people had asked him way before Star Wars, he would have said like, yeah, I might do some films, but it would only be documentaries for like National Geographic. No joke. Look it up, find out, like in case everybody thinks, oh, you're just making this up. I'm like, I'm not making it up. And what happened was like, I want to say it was his roommate or friend, something. And he's like, I got to go take this exam. It's for film school. You got to come take it with me. And he's like, I don't want to go to film school. I don't know why you would want me to do that. And he's like, no, like I'm afraid to take the test myself. Like, I don't want to go alone. Could you just come and take it? And he's like, why would I want to take the test? And he's like, it doesn't matter, like whether you pass or not, but just come and do it with me. Come and do it with me. And then he found out more about it. And he's kind of like, huh. Filmmaking, like you could go to school for filmmaking. And the guy's like, yeah, it's kind of exciting. Anyway, George Lucas took the test and he passed. You can look this up in case you're like, this doesn't sound right. This sounds like you're making it up, Matthew. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Go look it up. And then he had another option now. Like instead of him just pursuing anthropology, he's like, wow, I guess I could go to film school if I wanted to. And I believe it was USC. I could be mistaken about that.
I think you're right about that.
Okay, good. Thanks for confirming, because I was like, crap if I know. And then, by the way, that's where 1138 came from. That was the room that they learned all that stuff in. You know that, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool little tidbit. But anyway, my point was that he didn't intend with that because he was just like, filmmaking, I didn't even know you could go to school for such a thing. And it was like during those years I guess that was the 70s, maybe it's the 60s, I don't really know. But either way, it was like that was brand new. There wasn't filmmaking schools, not as far as I am aware. Certainly not in the United States, maybe in other countries. I don't really know. But do you know anything what I'm talking about, Anthony, to confirm or deny? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really don't know if there was like, if there was any type of film school, it definitely would have been in Southern California, right? So yeah, like I would imagine that if there was ever any access to that type of course, those type of courses, it would be there. So that was like really lucky.
And that's the thing. That's where he like met Francis Ford Coppola and some of the other filmmakers of the time. And then that's kind of why he learned about Akira Kurosawa, because Coppola was like, yo, you gotta get what's the word for it?
Like one of those projectors.
Diversified. And then he saw, I want to say it's called Hidden Fortress. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hidden Fortress, not like Great Fortress. But anyways, Hidden Fortress, if anybody doesn't know that, Akira Kurosawa made that. Japanese filmmaker, very well known. Did The Seven Samurai. Which The Magnificent Seven with Steve McQueen was based on. Anyway, the point is he saw that and he's like, okay, now this is some serious, like, I love this stuff. Like, this is awesome. And then, so that's kind of why the Jedi and the Sith were even really like born or like visualized into something, like, right? No one can deny that the Darth Vader armor is, no one would say, oh, what do you mean samurai? It has nothing to do with it. What are you talking about? No one would say that,
you
right?
can't argue that.
No, and it's not even by accident. It's like completely on purpose, like in case people thought that he was just doing whatever. And it's like, no, he wasn't doing just whatever. Like there were reasons for like 100% of all his like design decisions and thoughts. Sure, other people had to actually make the armor. He had to have Ralph McQuarrie make the drawings. Right, I'm 100% sure both of you guys know Ralph McQuarrie. I mean, like, if you didn't,
I actually have this like really nice book from it's the Ralph McQuarrie like entire collection. It's actually in 2 gigantic hardcovers that are like, it's like a coffee table. It's like magnum books. They're right here.
I was gonna say only 2. I would expect 4, but I see what you're mean. Like, it's 2, but they're gigantic.
They're like encyclopedias, yeah, and they're super heavy. And
right?
I'm gonna actually go over them a little bit in my other channel, my Space Windu channel. At some point, I want to kind of go over those. And I also have what was the other thing I was going to say about Ralph McQuarrie? The lightsabers themselves were like basically first drawn, like first shown in visual form by by Ralph McQuarrie. And the lightsaber book that one of my customers actually just sent me, JJ, if you're out there, thank you. I'm going to do a video on that book. and it's got some of the Ralph McQuarrie drawings in that book in the very beginning, you know, describing the lightsabers, actually on the page preceding the start of the book.
Also, and real quick, you knew that in a lot of the drawings and in original scripts or whatever, the stormtroopers were all going to have them.
Yeah, everyone was going to have them.
Right? Can you imagine like
how it actually says that? Yeah, it says that in this lightsaber book, which you know, I'm surprised they're still kind of promoting that idea, because some things have changed between, you know, 10 years ago and now with like the canon stuff, but they're still saying that in this brand new book. But in the original, see, there's these comic books that they just came out maybe, they came out maybe about 6-7 years ago, and they're called The Star Wars.
Oh,
they're called The Star Wars, and it's actually based on what Lucas's idea was for Star Wars before he wrote the script for Episode 4, you know, called Star Wars. So it was like the things, like some of the names were the same. So there was like Anakin Starkiller, and he was a separate character from Luke Skywalker, who was actually like an older. He in the comic, he looked like they drew him out to look like George Lucas. He was called Luke Skywalker, and he was like the older.
He was supposed to be sort of an incarnation, and again, I'm greatly simplifying it, as you probably know, but like kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi, kind of.
Yeah, he was like more of like a Jedi general type, like sort of like younger Kenobi General and older Kenobi mixed together. Yeah,
General Kenobi.
Yeah, and he was like out there doing the fighting, and I think who they came up with, who they kind of found out there was Anakin Skykiller or something like that, and it's a whole different kind of take on it. And in that comic book, they all have, like, everyone's kind of got a lightsaber somewhere, so
right? And of course,
differently.
What happened, of course, was later, you know, he's probably like sitting there talking to like designers, and they were like, you know, George, like, if you want to have all of, like, people have all these laser swords, like, it's really hard to make one, you know? And then he was probably like, yeah, well, maybe. And then probably throughout
you're saying for like practicality of making the movie.
They were probably like,
yeah, that's interesting.
Can they have guns and stuff? And they were probably like, oh yeah, we can make little laser flashes all over the place, and it'll be exponentially more simplistic for us to be able to achieve that, and it'll still achieve your same result, which is, oh no, a big army's coming, we gotta run away, pew 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 pew, as opposed to swords and cling clang clang. Although I guess that would have been
kind of like what we saw in Clone Wars at the end, maybe exactly the original kind of maybe vision was to have like people battle like that.
Yeah, I think that was what it was, is that like why some of the reason why George Lucas wanted to even do the prequels is to sort of like be like, I'd like to realize some of the visions that were not possible in the 70s because of limitations. We'll just call it limitations, right?
Yeah, well, that's supposedly why he started where he started, he said. You know, that's what he was saying in these later times. Primal Gamer is here. What's going on, buddy?
What's up? What up, Primal? But yeah, Anthony, there was something else I was going to say real quick with the Ralph McQuarrie stuff too. Oh, that a lot of people don't realize that BB-8 and Rey were actually Ralph McQuarrie drawings, or at least the early incarnations of them, which were, of course, made in the 70s, and not like, because you know how some people are like,
Disney ruined it, they put like a girl to be the heroine, and that's dumb, and nobody likes that stuff, and the BB-8 thing's really cool, but it's brand new.
And you're sort of like, nope, sorry, wrong.
There was always a girl hero in the movie.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say is like, there's drawings. I'm sure you have them in those bloody books, right?
I'm gonna have to check, because J.J. Abrams takes credit, I think, for saying that someone said he drew something like that on a napkin, and they took it and ran with it. So I'll have to check that book to see if like it's actually something similar in it from Ralph McQuarrie.
Well, I might be wrong then, but I have a feeling that if what I saw was a McQuarrie drawing or whatever, then yeah, he actually did draw some things. and I could be wrong again about this, but I believe the reasoning was back in the day, George Lucas was like, I'm not sure if I should have a heroine or a hero based on like, he's like, that might be a cool move to make. You know what I mean?
I like how we eventually came up with the twin idea, and that's kind of like our comic starts with that idea. Kevin came up with this twin idea, but eventually, I guess when Return of the Jedi rolled around, Lucas decided to, Leia and Luke are twins.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to know how early a lot of that stuff is, but I also have to. I don't believe that George Lucas had it like all planned out ahead of time. Especially not even the prequels. Like,
no,
I don't think
definitely not.
No, I mean,
you can learn a lot by doing it. Yourself, and I'm sure you have when you were writing Diamond Dragons and various versions
totally
of it.
Different experience.
That like the ideas swirl, and like it's like an imagination is swirling. So you could imagine it might work like that for other people too. And so for Lucas, it was probably like. He had to contain certain ideas, like you said, for money reasons, like for budget reasons and special effects reasons. And he had to, maybe alter other ideas for whatever other reasons. So
yeah, when
you're writing something that's just going to be a novel or in this case, a comic book, like what me and Kevin are doing, it's like you could do anything you want. There's no limitation on the budget. I can draw whatever. I can draw a planet. I didn't have to make the planet. I didn't have to go to the planet with like a rocket ship to make that happen. So
exactly.
Same thing for you. You could go to another dimension. Yeah. And you don't need CGI because you just need an imagination.
I mean, literally, if you need a dude to teleport in while wearing a shark on his head, you could do it. I mean, but then imagine the CGI that would have been required to do that in the 70s. You'd be like, ugh. Or not CGI, but the things that have to do.
Yeah.
Yo,
there's a lot of stuff about this. What's up? Oh yeah, Primal Gamer says what? Boys, my clone trooper helmet got here today. I'm gonna start it either tomorrow or Friday.
That's exciting. It's exciting when you get a prop and you're gonna work on it.
And TK's asking, do you have to paint or add components? I think he means add components.
Yeah, I'm sure he's definitely got to paint it. Like, we'll see what Primal says about having other bits to the helmet. But I've seen those type of helmets and people like paint them in different ways. I think Primal said in a past broadcast that he was going to paint it in the Rebel or the Commando, like with the blue paint and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
The Republic Commando type look.
And to answer TK's question, yes, he will have parental guidance. Don't worry. Never mind. That's going to go over most people's heads. They're going to be like,
and then paint it. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but if you spend a lot of time on those underlayers, like the sanding, it'll become a really nice paint job overall,
Right? If you do the work in the foundation areas of whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's a comic book or a regular book or whatever you want to call it, you do the foundation work and lay the right foundation, then everything else goes more like butter, right? But then if you you skimp on your basics and your foundations, you make it like 10 times harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. This is the fact.
I know Anthony ran into that a lot with the lightsaber design stuff, right? Didn't you always tell me?
Yeah.
I'm always like, Matthew, I had this idea for the saber, and then I was doing it, and I figured, okay, this is gonna take about 8 hours, and then later you're like, yo, it took 24, and I'm like, oh.
Well, sometimes too when you don't have especially with the sanding, like I did a job where I was applying gold, 24 karat gold to a part of a lightsaber hilt. And I didn't actually apply it properly, so I had a friend help me with it. And they said, listen, before you send it over to us to do it, strip away all the stuff that you did, all the gold that's not correct and all that. So I sanded it all down, but it wasn't perfect. So then when they applied their gold, their perfect gold on top of it, it wasn't perfect. And now I'm dealing with the situation where we're actually getting it redone. So look how many times I actually had to attempt and get that to happen again, just because we
live and we learn.
Yeah.
Also, I just got to say, I'm not sure if this is on Kev or Ant, but I'm stepping on these tunes. I like it.
Oh, nice.
Ant selection.
Yeah, this reminds me of music we used to trick to.
Yeah, the first like 20 minutes or so of this music video I made, it's like music Kevin doesn't like, but then I think we get into some music that he does like.
Well, you got to have a balance of the force, man. We need emotional content. Now try again.
Not
this
anger.
time with me. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again.
Imagine he was talking to the Dybbuk. As I was just looking at, like, you guys can't see it, but in the video, which is playing on one of my screens, like the Dybbuk was like roaring and it's like flying.
Yeah. I was just speaking of the Dybbuk, I was just talking to some people about creatures recently, like monstrous, things, and it sort of came up about the whole like, should you reveal it? Should you not? You know what I mean? Like, how much imagination do we want to leave to this? And in this case, we were talking about absolutely plain writing a book. So, right, it's sort of like, and then I brought up Stephen King's It, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right, and of course, in It, it's sort of like not described in a very unique way. It's supposed to be like, what's the worst incarnation of your nightmares? That's what happens. You know what I mean? And you're like, ah.
This is a creature you will never ever see in your nightmares.
In here, we pour whiskey.
There he
Hey
is.
guys, how you doing?
Hey,
What is the word?
I'm on the phone. Actually, I got around I told you that my mail app was acting stupid, right?
well, what about the female?
Well, it still acts stupid, but I found a way around it. I went through the internet to get to my email instead of the straight on app from my email.
Ah.
So I found a way around it.
I had
found
that
a way
trouble when I
around
was on vacation. Yeah, like where like my browser stopped me from actually launching the show a couple times.
Nice. You're like, great, thanks.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to have like backups for everything. You're sort of like in this day and age where there's so much tech. Like, I don't know how you guys do this at all. Like, I wouldn't even understand Inkstream if someone like
Have me
maybe,
a drink.
like, I'd be like,
Have me a drink.
I got a beer poured over here.
Matthew, would you say you don't understand what? Just how to stream?
I'm so old man on the whole technology thing now. Like, Facebook already breaks me for the most part, and I don't even barely use Instagram, and I don't think I've ever touched like Reddit and all those. I've no idea.
Well, you helped us out with the Facebook thing. That's something I didn't know. You said, "Listen, guys, this isn't even
did?
public."
Oh, that was minor, but I mean, I see.
And me
what
and
you're
Kevin
saying.
both don't understand that. We're like, "Wait, it's not public."
Yeah, well, no, that's good. I'm glad. That's kind of the irony is it's always a trade-off or whatever to understand. Like, it took me forever, but okay, yeah. So with the Facebook posts, like, you can make them public, private, or selective, where you could be like, I only want Kev, blah 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 blah, to see this particular post, and then you're like, okay, this one, as long as my friends see it, but I don't really want it to be like super public. And then other ones you can just be like, yo, universe, like whoever clicks
Right.
on this.
That's funny.
And they all have different, as you can probably imagine, and I can only guess. It's not like I have a quantitative number, but the weight in which those things will show up in your friends' things, I have no idea how that geek and nerd code works. If anybody does out there, hey, shout out to Albatross Junction and get them boosted in their who sees it.
Do it.
I think I put too much whiskey.
You just said too much whiskey, and having those three words in that particular very sequential order is not
I think there's
allowed.
more whiskey than Pepsi.
It is not allowed here.
I just opened up like a 30-year-old bottle of Crown Royal. That's what I'm drinking right now.
30 years.
30 years old.
Nice.
It's older than Primal.
Shakalaka.
It's older than Primal.
Celebration, son. Celebration.
Sorry, Primal.
Celebration, Primal.
No, we're gonna
Wait,
start
do I have to
singing.
start doing that? Do we have to start doing the readings like that? Be like, it's an ARC trooper. I'm gonna paint it as the 41st Rangers in camo on a Wookiee homeworld called Kashyyyk.
Oh, this is awesome. He says his dad's gonna help make sure it's evenly sanded and glued. That's awesome.
My dad's gonna help to make sure it's evenly sanded and glued. What the hell? Dude,
my dad had to help me with my first like 10 lightsabers. I would burn, like they would go on fire. I have to call my dad to tell him to come over. They're on fire.
You guys have different parents, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, my dad didn't want to help with that. He was like, I don't care about lightsabers. I'm like, yeah, but don't you care that my house is on fire? Come over.
Yeah, this is a completely different relationship. Like, there's no way that my dad would ever be involved in anything that I do. It's funny. Nor my mother at all. Like, they're out to lunch on things, but that's okay. Like, everybody's different, you know.
My mom will help me till like to her own peril. Like there was one time I was like 8 years old and I was like fascinated with super glue. And I had this.
I love that. Fascinated with super glue. It sounds like a good band.
I used to watch.
You weren't a sniffer, were you?
I used to watch Mr. Wizard's World, and he would come up with these weird things, like experiments you could do, I guess, or experiments that he would do. I was trying something. I don't know if it was from that show or whatever, but he would have a balloon, and he put a piece of Scotch tape over the balloon, and then poke a hole with a pin through where the Scotch tape was, and the balloon did not pop, right? It still stayed there, just the air leaked. So I did that, but I wanted to plug the hole with the air leaking with super glue, because I just love super glue. So my mom was going to help me do this, and she ended up in the hospital because the super glue came out of the air. The air exploded the super glue right into her eye.
Not good. Oh my god. Yeah.
So she's willing to help even when the outcome is awful.
Wow.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's the thing, is everybody has different people in their lives, which is cool.
Yo, this little exchange between Primal and TK is pretty fucking funny, bro.
Oh, they're doing it. He's like,
¿Cómo estás, guy? TK. What's up, TK?
I thought you said "Cómo está, gay." You saying "What up, bro" in Spanish.
You're saying "What up, bro"? Español.
¿Cómo estar, carnal?
Oh wait, there it is. Right there it is. The Mundo, right? El sol se fue.
Yeah, there it is. El sol se fue.
See, that's pretty good. You see, I imagine now you've improved even more, and it was already good, but now you get it.
Yeah.
The sun is gone.
The sun
se
fue.
Exactly.
Big Des is here. What's going on, Big Des?
And some of the Big Des.
Yeah, what up, man? What's happening, Brodies?
Howdy.
Hi.
I never met Big Des, so that's cool to know.
That's my boy.
Hey, I had a roommate in college, and I call him Des, and I don't know why we did, but it was like a well, I do, but it'd be impossible to explain right now.
Hey, I checked out some vids from Hydra Comics, dude.
Ooh.
What they working with?
Do tell.
Oh no, well they were like discussing different things, and one of the videos that I caught, they were talking about all the shit that's being canceled right now, like Gina Carano and Pepe Le Pew, you know, all that stuff that we were talking about earlier.
I love how you put those together, Mundo.
He's right. There's so many characters and people. I mean, I never would have thought there'd be characters. I guess I don't know. There's people and characters now being canceled.
Yeah. But it's ridiculous. I mean, it's really ridiculous because, you know, I really don't get it, because people go so far, but then, you know, they go way overboard. It's like, really? I mean, the next thing you know, it's going to be outlawed for what? Eon Flux?
Probably.
Well,
I mean,
you know, Mundo, to tell you a little bit, not like I know tons, but like, you know, the kind of Hollywood and or like superstars and movies and all that stuff, all that kind of stuff has been going on for decades, but
oh yeah.
only now because there's more technology and there's more ability for people to take a chance on saying, do I want to tell the truth? That's known better now. Like, for example, like think about it way back in the 80s, like we didn't know anything about what was here in the United States. We didn't know anything about what was going on in Germany. I mean, kinda, but not to this extent. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the same thing was in Hollywood, like way back in the day when they wanted to sweep something under the rug, they could sweep something under the rug. But now it's so much easier if something goes weird, you know what I'm saying? People find out like way quicker. And some people are more willing to say something like, look at that Harvey Weinstein debacle. That was going on for decades. Look at the Bill Cosby thing, not to have this turn all weird dark angles, but right, like there was always something weird going on. But then it's like now people are more willing to speak about it, and then the technology allows people to find out like right away. You know, there's none of this like.
Well,
yeah,
but I mean, even but I mean, man, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, that's
even without the technology, I'm sorry, but if something's happening to you, you need to speak up, not years later, right then and there, and saying, "Hey, this person is doing me wrong." I mean,
just hard though for some people, man.
No,
I think those are like, I think you guys are talking about two different things though. Like Pepe Le Pew didn't commit a crime, and like neither did like Gina Carano or any of those other people. These are just like crazy people attacking other people or characters. So it's not like a crime has occurred, like a Harvey Weinstein type of assault. It's like people are just insane, and then there's like, first of all, there's only 2% of people are on Twitter. And then on Twitter, out of all the people on Twitter, which are just 2% of people, there are a percentage of those people who are insane. And
no kidding.
They go after people, and they don't stop because they have all day long. They're in their underwear. They don't have to stop. And they could attack until Disney says, we bend the knee to you. We will, whatever. We will burn this book. We will cancel this character. We will erase this person. So it's just absolutely disgusting, like that type of stuff. So in that sense, like the social media stuff did allow it, and it allowed like that doorway for that to happen. But it's not because of there was like a crime occurred or something. It's a totally made up scenario. But
I agree. But what we were discussing, Spacey, is that even without that scenario there, it's if like he was saying that people were having trouble speaking up, and now that with all this technology, people are just saying whatever. It is the technology that allows people to speak up.
That's kind of what I was getting at. So I love Anthony's point because it makes a lot of sense. Exactly. I wasn't comparing Gina Carano or Pepe Le Pew or then Harvey Weinstein. I'm saying is like when controversy comes, like it's a different world than it was in the 80s where only a few people knew about it. And you're absolutely right. Like, see, Mundo's point totally ties in because then he's like, and also anyone can now speak of it, because it used to be the only people who would talk about it were the people who were directly involved, and then they get it done and that's it. And then maybe you'd find out, or maybe you wouldn't, because they get their problems resolved. But now the whole world seems to know everybody's personal problems.
Everybody's got a voice,
and everybody has a voice, exactly. So in other words, you know what I mean, people who shouldn't speak about something tend to do it anyway. And then those who should speak, they're in the minority. Be careful,
because if you fart on YouTube, you're going to get censored.
Yeah, exactly. There's that too.
So Pepe Le Pew was the first Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned.
He Harveyed it up.
Remember? Oh, mademoiselle, you are so beautiful. I love the way your shoulders and your tail, they shiver in the beautiful night. Oh my God. And you're like,
hashtag
creeper.
He grabbed a little cat.
Who was to say she wasn't playing? She was playing hard to get.
Oh, Mundo.
She
But
was
hey, I
playing
gotta
hard
quickly
to get.
I
That
think
made it
Primal
more
took off because he
interesting.
said he wanted to watch a movie. So shout out
It was
Primal.
funny.
We miss you.
Shout out,
Peace
Primal.
out. Peace out, Primal. Yo, that shit was funny though. Remember her meow? Let me out. Like, let me out.
No, actually, that was the thing, right? She said "les mieux," and you're like, "How funny!" Like it was supposed to be even French, right? Les mieux.
Funny as
Yeah.
hell. Oh, mon chéri.
Oh, thanks so much, Des. He's saying looks real dope. Thank
Damn
you.
right,
So,
man.
you know what else?
You know,
If
we
they're
don't
gonna go
talk
after
about
the
their
road runners,
art enough. We need to do more of that, right, Mundo?
What's that?
We gotta like hit the points on their art way more. Like we all blabber way so much, and then they're just drawing. And I know it doesn't matter, but it's like we should talk about their art more.
Well, yeah.
Well, it takes us
Yeah,
such
we
a
should.
long time to like make anything. It's good that you just keep talking while we can do something like new.
I know,
Otherwise,
We're
No, I
keeping
was-
them
I was
on
gonna-
track, man. We're keeping them on track.
I was going to say that earlier in the show, which is like, you know, I was telling Kevin before you guys got here, or telling the audience, you know, this is the only show that you get to see a comic book made from start to finish. But what I didn't say was, you know, unfortunately, that process takes a really, really long time. So if you want to see the final book, you know, you could check it out on Indiegogo. It's on Indiegogo right now, and the book's going to come out in June. But if you want to see it happen really as it happens in real life, real time, then this is the place for that.
You know, Anthony, you make a great point that is a good thing that you should put on the intro of a lot of these. Not to mention, it's great that you put it on the outro too. And you can always edit your outro now. Like you could be like, oh, I should say this too. Or I think that's a really good idea, because then people won't think, oh, cool, I'm going to turn on this video and immediately I'm going to see like a comic play out in front of me. And then they're like, wait, what is this? And then they're like, oh, it's going to be made in front of me. Well, how does that work? And then maybe they get the idea. But either way, it's pretty cool. Like, I feel like one day, you know, certainly it's going to take time, but imagine when they're going to be able to like watch your series from start to finish. And imagine one day when you guys are done, that later you'll have that whole string of videos that you can even try to say, let's time compress some of that stuff. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Will you guys
to work with.
crowdfund that? You know what I mean?
Kevin actually takes a lot of our older videos and does clip
I saw
shows
that.
of them, and he puts them on Comic Book Creation channel.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And
Amazing.
you know, he kind of plans to do that to all of them. But to your point about, you know, what at the end, like what happens at the end, well, I was thinking the same thing. Like if people like the book, then that's one like resource that they have. Like, oh, I want more Albatross, but I've already read the comic. So what do I do now? Well, it's like you could go and actually get a lot of backstory and like listen to us talk about it for long lengths of time if you went back to the older shows, you know, or if you just wanted to watch.
Yeah,
the
you'll
clips,
get some
you know,
quality
Kevin does that
entertainment
too.
out of this.
Yeah,
What's that,
exactly.
I say you'll get some quality entertainment out of this.
And just think, maybe they'll even have the chance to see things come full circle. I'll be bald, and then Anthony will have like all this long hair.
Such beautiful hair.
Just so you know,
I'm next to be bald. I'm next to be bald.
Big Dez is my boy from school. We went to undergrad together, man. He's an early supporter of the show and all that, everything that goes on.
Big Des.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Guy.
Big Dead.
Big
Yeah.
Des in the house.
My dude.
Oh, thanks so much, Des. So it's definitely supporting the project. Boom.
Thanks.
Yes. Hell yeah.
And at lightning speed.
You know, and that it's always a good point that for people to understand what it really takes for someone to from start to finish, even a page, even part of it, the making of a comic book. Because for those people that don't understand what it takes to even come out with this kind of content,
Yeah.
you know, you have to be, you know, a sort of art lover, you know, and appreciate what you guys are doing in terms of showing them how it's coming about, in terms of, you know, all the lines, all the colors.
Think of it like this
process.
too, Raimundo. Stairs on a staircase.
Mhm.
If you haven't built the staircase completely yet, all you have is stairs still. Not a staircase. You have stairs, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when you just have a few stairs and they lead, you know, nowhere, quote unquote, right? But we all know that's not true, because then one day you're like, yo, we finished these stairs. And they're like, where does it lead? It's like, this leads to this awesome building that we've now completed. What? Yeah, I want to go. This is whoa, I can't believe this place. But when they were making the staircase to like the Washington Monument, you know, or whatever, you know, and maybe there isn't one. I don't even know, because I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Actually, there is.
Okay, then I guessed right. But the point, do you see what I mean? Is when it was being built, you probably drove by or looked and you were like, oh, they're building, you know, stairs, right? And then, and I mean, of course, I'm making this up. People might say, come on, it wasn't built in the 90s. People wouldn't have driven by. I'm like, that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying to say, imagine you see the creation of something, you walk by it every day. You don't really truly know until it's like 90% done, maybe a little earlier.
That's true. That's
people are going to look at Albatross Junction and barely one video, and they'll be like, this looks like they just drew a cardboard thing and that's it. And you're like, there's a little bit more to it than just one frame.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, and it also makes me appreciate my comic books a little bit more, because
good.
I really never knew the whole process of the
and how
comic
would you, or why would you, you know?
Well, that's my point, Matt, is why would I until I met Ant and Kev, and then them doing this, you know. I collected comic books, I read comic books, I liked comic books, but I don't think I had ever appreciated them the way I do now.
Well, certainly not. What you're talking about on a grander scale too, right, Mundo, is it's like, for example, you guys ever seen that movie Remember the Titans?
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that.
Okay, cool. And I mean, I'm sure you're aware, and I'll just do the little tiny bit of it where he's just like, everybody sit down. All of you are going to learn about one another. You are going to have a partner you're black. You have a partner who's white. You're going to learn about each other, and I don't care what it takes, and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to like them. You don't got to go to their this, that. You got to find out about them. And then, of course, what did that do, right, Mundo? Is eventually they were like, yo, you're pretty dope, man. And you know what I mean?
It brought them together.
Well, and my point being, the grander scale is like, if you learn about what it means to be an actor, it's pretty difficult to belittle the actor. If you learn about what it means to be an artist of any sort, whether that's, you know, hi, I'm drawing with pens and pencils, or hi, I'm standing up on stage and doing a little dance and a singing, or whatever artist you want to say. When you learn a little about them, it makes it so much harder to be like, man, Mundo, whatever, Mundo. I mean, his stupid family. Like, you can't do that when you. Do you see what I mean? You can't do that if you know the person.
What did he say there?
You like that, huh? But I mean, of course, I'm doing it for comedy.
Such conviction.
We got to do something funny on the show sometimes, don't we? But you see what I mean, right, Mundo? You can't be like, for example, if someone's like, Britney Spears, whatever, she's just a little this, that, and the other, and then you might learn something about Britney Spears' life, you know, Spears is. But anyways, I'm not saying I don't know anything about her life. My point is, if you got to know her, chances are it would be, even if she made mistakes, you'd probably have a lot harder time crucifying, you know, someone. So when you learn about like what other people are doing, it's pretty cool. You like you get this new point of view on them as people.
No, totally agree. I'll drink to that.
I know. I would just realize that a minute ago. I'm like, I got to pull out another. I'm terrible, right? I'm only drinking water right now.
Well, you know,
I've got some libations tonight.
Yeah, pull out another water, huh?
Oh yeah. I've just been big on that too, like all the what do you call it, carbonated water. Just I don't know why, you know.
I gotta send you that shot glass so you can take shots of water.
Oh, that's right. You know, I totally forgot about that. I did. you know?
No, don't worry. I know you're so busy, man. So just whenever you have time, I've got it saved up for you. I've got it wrapped up. So,
dude, it's totally cool. I just gotta remember because it's true. There's so many different things that stack up, and
yeah, no, I know exactly how extremely busy you are, man.
Yeah, and then that's the whole thing too, like trying to keep up with the workout, which I've been like kind of slacking on lately, But
I cannot wait to get my garage cleared out so I can start working out.
There's your first workout isn't that ironic? Your first workout is to work out lifting all the stuff out of the way so that you can work out.
It's funny because not last night, but the night before, I probably cut up about 15 boxes with the box cutter.
No kidding.
I'm like, get them cleared out, throw them in the recycle bin, and get it all cleared out. But it looks like I got that much of a corner done. Like, really? 3 hours worth of work, and it looks like I did 2 minutes of work.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh, real quick, let's see.
It takes time.
TK said, the skill and effort and time just are really staggering when you think of it, really.
Yeah.
It really weighs me down like, oh my God.
I wish I could cut in the Usher song right now, but we'd get struck.
I don't even know what that is, but that's cool. Yeah. That's what we got to do too. One of these days we got to organize and do it proper where we'll be like, yo, today Mundo's on the reading the comments and this person's on making sure to this and this person's obviously drawing, but then, blah, blah, blah.
Actually, once the comic is out, you just gave me an idea. Maybe we should have like a dramatic reading by, maybe you and me, or we could go back and forth. All of us can take a character or something. That might be funny. And we could like turn the pages.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, it just depends on what characters you want to be read, because I can do weird ones, and that's cool. And I know Kev's got some mean voice like impersonations. Like I heard Kevin does a mean Al Pacino.
I love Kevin's.
Why would you throw me on the bus?
Get some eye-tech going.
Let's hear you.
I like Kevin's Rastaman Jamaican type voice when he says that he's going to go to the bathroom. Can you say that?
What?
Say I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
The bathroom. Oh, just the reggae shit.
Oh, the bathroom on it.
I need to irrigate myself, damn it.
We need to put a Caribbean voice in there.
Dude, I love how Kevin's dodging. I want to hear your Al Pacino impersonation.
I don't have an Al Pacino. All I got is hoo-ah, hoo-ah. That's all I got, bro. Des, you out of here, man? Appreciate you stopping by,
Frank.
man.
What? Piece of shit, Frank.
Big Des, he's already out of here, but thank you for
out of here, man. Out of here.
Oh, have a good night, Big Des.
We will give Big Des also.
Thanks
Do
for
that
stopping
Dragons
by, man.
nice. Chio, Chifoy.
That's my man.
Boss Rez, Inyelaha.
Well, I also forgot, man, that I actually checked on one of those vids from Lando Sabers, and they mentioned Jeremy was on there, dude, and they mentioned you on there. Space
I
Wind
wonder
Dude.
if people are like, who's that?
What are you talking about? One of their like live streams?
Yeah, they're live streaming.
We're talking shit.
Yeah, they were probably talking it up, man.
Now we got
Like, you gonna let that happen without going back at him? Hit him back.
No, they just mentioned it because they were talking about fonts and stuff and sabers and everything.
I love those guys. I've been watching them every Friday. They've been doing a podcast, and it's great because like I don't have to do it, and I could like sit there and listen to them. and they go for a long time. They go for like 6 hours. So I just spend the whole Friday night.
Damn, 6 hours.
I spend the whole Friday night like working on lightsabers and listening to them talk about lightsabers.
Wow,
It's crazy that they can do that for 6 hours a day without like ramifications to their collective lives. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I guess they do it on
like,
like Friday night. It starts at like 10 and it goes to like, I don't know, what's 6 hours from 10? It goes to like 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning, yeah.
It's pretty late, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I caught him
works,
at 11 o'clock at night. I was
if you had that much cocaine, go ahead. No, I'm just
Yo,
No,
six
but
times, yeah.
Lando and the
boy,
guys
that's
have
for
actually
more.
some pretty interesting points, man.
Yeah, like what are they? What are they were talking about? Sound fonts and sabers, or are you talking about other points?
No, I mean the fonts, but also I mean everything in general, you know, because even I think Nerf Herder's on there as well. It's Nerf Herder, Jesse, Lando. Who else? There's like like 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still selling the fonts. Like, you know, they're still providing some income of a sort, and like I need it. So it's a big shout out to anybody who's supporting the work. I could certainly use more, but I think what I really need to do is do that smooth swing stuff, Anthony. Like one day I have to like talk to you and be like, help me out with some dude who could like help me out, you know? Because
I'm gonna have to refer you to somebody.
Like a huge amount of time.
Yeah, Matt. If you end up doing that, let me know. I'll buy the fonts from you. So,
oh no, I appreciate it. Like, I mean, it'll mostly be for the community to have the version. If they want it, then they can have it. But like, it's not like I'm like, oh my god, I can make so much money. I can do this, that, and the other. Like, I kind of wish that was still the case, but like, that was a long time ago, and that's cool. And like, like I said, Diamond Dragons, it takes up pretty much all the time, and my daughter, and
yeah, and,
so,
well, your daughter's, the most important, aspect of your life.
That's what I'm trying to like support, because like otherwise, I don't really have any resources. That's why I'm always trying to do my best. You know what I mean? And just keep moving forward. But
and I tell you what, she's your greatest resource, man.
I know, right? Now, speaking of greatest resources, what's this resource that they're looking at, Kevin, with the search? What do they name that?
What's up?
What do they name that spaceship?
Oh, that's N. That's the Concordia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Concordia?
Concordia.
Yo, shout out to Concordia.
Codename Quantum 1.
Yo, that's right. That's what you were saying. It was like the Q1.
The Q1.
Let's see what Kevin's inking over here.
Or is it the Q01 or 01?
He just spilled a bottle. He spilled a bottle of ink.
What?
All over his page.
Look at that.
See now,
a bottle of ink.
I wanted to quickly say something really quick, because I think this will help other, viewers or whatever. But like, you could notice at certain points where Kevin was bringing out that sort of not protractor, but it's like it has all these different sizes of circles and lines and squares. What do they call it, Kevin?
Templates.
Is it just template?
Like this right here, like a circle template, shit like this.
Okay, so they literally just say templates.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool, because like I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily like catch that, because they might think, wow, I could never be an artist and I would like to try, but blah blah blah, and they might not like know, hey, you could give yourself a leg up by starting with a lot of the tools.
Yeah, man, you gotta get a curve, get all your curves right with this thing here.
That is what I'm saying.
Got a bunch of shit. Man, you got a French curve.
Mm-hmm.
Got everything. Got to get everything.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, I've been learning, and then it makes me think about like, so Caitlin, my daughter, has been, expressing a lot of interest in drawing. She's doing pretty good, I feel. Nice. Especially because I'm trying to encourage her, draw every day if you really like it that much, and like we journal every day, my dear. And I try to get her to do those things just to start that kind of habit. So one day I should probably think about getting her some
little tools,
templates and stuff.
Man. Yeah, hell yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Let her go to town, man.
I would show her a portion of the show. It's so funny. I was thinking about it, but I was like, oh man, sometimes we swear.
Sometimes. It's like it's an everyday thing for me.
Everyday thing. Oh wait, there we go. TK at one point went, God of the brush. Can't always do it right.
God of the brush.
God of the brush.
The brush lord.
You know what's so ironic? That just teaches me something more about with doing the voiceover, because like when I have to bend over like this for the mic, it screws up my throat.
Book, Bernie.
Yeah, but when I have the mic in the proper position and my throat's open, then my voice works better. But it's totally true. It's sort of like if you were drawing with dry brushes, right? You
Yeah.
gotta get them wet. You gotta get them wet, Kevin.
Gotta get him wet.
Yeah, I'm gonna wet my throat right now.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm
Gotta
saying.
get him moist over here.
TK says, time to get swifty in here.
Yo, that's my joint. Trying to get swifty. Gotta get swifty.
That's what I should have done is read it the right
Yo,
way.
that's the best.
Oh,
Gotta
that's
watch
right.
Rick and Morty.
Big Des said no doubt. No doubt fire
doubt.
here.
Yo,
That was pretty good.
Rick and Morty's the shit, man.
Fire here.
Ooh, hello dear.
Oh, hello.
That movie was good.
R.I.P. to Robin for that one.
Oh man, can you imagine if he was alive today? What kind of content he put out?
Dude, don't even get me started, man. I'm gonna burst into tears, and I'm not really joking. You know,
No.
Here's the truth.
it took me years, but I finally got my homage in where I did a friend like me, like I recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always like you guys probably don't totally remember, but I did that Prince LED thing. Yeah, Prince LED was a parody of the song Prince Ali.
Yeah, that's the one with the turban, right?
Well, it wasn't a turban; it was a towel. But that was
Towel,
the point.
but
Is
still,
I was
you
doing
meant
an
it as a
homage-
turban. Come on.
Yeah, I was just doing a parody, not only of myself, but I
Yeah.
was doing a parody of that
I
song.
loved it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was-
I'm such a nerd. I loved it, dude.
Well, no, I mean, I did it with some purpose, like, because of course it was silly, but then once people could hear it, it's like, oh, they could be like, geez, he did like all 5 parts, like as a harmonized thing. And I'm like, yeah,
No, but you did it well. You did it well.
yeah, it was a lot of work. Yeah, it was really tough because like some of those voices are not meant for my octaves because, of course, there's sopranos and all this craziness in there. So I had to do some
Yeah,
things.
but you had a plan and you went for it. Yeah, just like Ed and Kevin. They have a plan. They know where they're going with the comic book, and they're going to town on it.
That's what I'm saying. Shout out
Speaking
to
of,
having a
I think,
plan.
we're gonna have to set aside. I think it's gonna be April 5th, Kev.
Yeah.
April
It
5th.
looks like it might be a Saturday where the campaign ends. So there's about
Mhm.
12 days left right now. So we'll do like a closeout party. Kev, you got to keep that night free. We'll try to stream
Cool.
for as long as we can.
April
And-
5th.
yeah, I think it's the 5th. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. You know, I counted down the days from like today being the 12 more days, and it looks like it lands on April 5th, which is a
All right, so
Saturday.
it's probably gonna have to be the 4th, man, because you know it stops at midnight.
Okay, so it might be, I think April 5th is a Friday, maybe. So maybe the 4th will actually end up being a comic book Wednesday anyway, a new comic book day. So we'll have
Well,
to
you
see.
could do it early too, because if you're lucky, it'll be early because then there'll still be that time for maybe people to be like, "Yo, that was really cool. Oh, dang, I didn't donate." Like, there's still time, you know.
Yeah, and I continue to tell people about it too, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep posting it on my Facebook and Instagram page.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm making this a priority, and I mean it. And that's what people who are watching, if you're watching out there, make it a priority. These guys really need your help to finish the goal, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is $3,500, and they're super close. So,
Yeah.
like, what are you waiting for? Your $5, your $10, your $20, your $2 million might put them over the edge, and in a
Come
good
on,
way.
guys, get your book. I'm getting mine.
Hurry it up! Hurry it up!
Besides, you may end up coming on the show, talk with us, have a good time. You
That's
may
right.
end up being a comic book character such as myself. Have a drink with me and the rest of the guys at El Mundo.
El Mundos, come on in.
Come on
and
in.
fall
I'll
out.
guarantee to warm you up.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Yo,
You
that,
see,
that
now
song was
that's
the
what
greatest.
I'm talking about right there.
That song was a great.
Yeah, tastes good.
And I think if you drink enough whiskey, maybe you'll get some hair on that head of yours.
I'm gonna try.
Me? Oh, I was like, what?
No, I said Ed.
And
I'm gonna
Well,
try.
wait, Ant, didn't you
I
just
told
shave it
Kevin
or
if
something?
if I can't grow hair, he's gonna tattoo little dots on my head. That's gonna look like I have a fully shaved head, like a full, like I shaved my head, but it's full of hair. You know, it'll look
know what
like
you're saying.
that. It'll look like that if he puts enough
People
dots.
do that shit. People do that shit.
that's it's all good.
It's a
It's all
thing.
good.
It'll look like little stubble, but it'll just be fake.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of me but taller.
You gonna get what tattoo? What?
I'm gonna get a tattoo of me but taller.
That's real.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking of a deer skull with a saber going through it.
Hey,
Oh,
what?
that's cool. That's cool, Mundo. That could be like your logo.
I missed
Right?
the first one.
A deer skull.
Oh, a
Deer skull, big
I
ass
like
look.
that.
I'm glad I didn't. It wasn't what I thought it was because I was like, "Excuse me."
What you thought he said?
You know, a big
He's
old
got a skull
barrel.
fuck a
It's like,
lightsaber.
Yeah. Because they have like right now, I've seen some pictures with big old deer skulls with hooks for fishing and hunting type stuff.
Awesome.
But I'd be like the Trinity part of it, which is a deer skull to represent the hunting, a hook to represent fishing, and then the saber, you know, as a Jedi.
Right on.
That's definitely your sigil right there.
Yeah.
So I like Kev's precision work when he has to go around the helmets. Like I'd be like probably frightened out of my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna screw it up.
Well, the bristles are long, so you just gotta let the brush do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Only the pros. They're gonna know how to do the strokes, make the moves, do the
strokes and make the moves. Oh,
do the thing that behooves.
A lot of dudes be talking about his precision work around the helmet.
Damn it, Ant, you ruined it. I was gonna see how far I could take him through that monstrosity.
Get the fuck out of here! That was
Damn
quick.
it, Ant, dude.
That was quick.
I was setting, man. You stole my joke. I was setting some stuff up. I was gonna say, I love how shiny the ink is.
It's almost as shiny as my bald head.
But now, Ant, dude, man, you're ruining my jokes. Because right, Ant,
shine your hand for a
Kevin was
quarter.
saying he wrote a bunch of jokes. So I think that's another thing, Kev, you gotta prepare us with all the jokes, and then one show every time, just like in Pulp Fiction with Uma Thurman's character, you could be like, each show, I would get to tell one joke.
Just one joke.
Just one
joke.
Just
one
one.
G. One G. Just one G. One G.
One G.
Let's do that.
One G. One G.
And then just get it out there, and then tell you guys what the joke was at the end of the show.
And that's it. Like, and I'm sure they're all funny, and that will be the best part. Is that people are gonna laugh and be like, "What the?" And then you're just like, "Show done."
Show's finished.
Like that's blackout. Because then you guys won't even have to worry about how, like, you know how when you're like, "Uh-oh, we don't know how to close." You'll be like, "Yo, we always close with Kevin's joke." Like always.
This show.
What do y'all think? Is it a good idea?
Well, the only problem I have with it is that, like, a lot of jokes I'm thinking probably take like a setup or some kind of like he might have to, like, let's say that final joke is a callback. Well, he would have to do the beginning part at the beginning, right? So
That
yeah,
works.
I mean, if he could work it in, that it would work. But I would just imagine that, like, sometimes a set, like, imagine you were doing a set, and I'm sure some of those jokes in the middle might not work unless you were actually in the middle of the set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of
I know
them are
what you mean.
stories.
Well, I'm saying then, you know,
Do the whole set. Do the whole set. I don't care. Do the whole hour set. He said he's got an hour. Do the hour.
that's a good point too. Someone could just record him, and we could just say go.
He might not want to give it all away though on a show with not a full audience.
Dude, one day Kevin's
Might
gonna have
wanna
an
sell
HBO
tickets.
special after you guys become famous with Albatross. He's gonna say, "Yo, I want my special where I could do like after I'll open for Dave Chappelle and stuff."
Imagine that shit.
Hey, I like watching these comedians and stuff. Like, I always love watching Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And I'm like always looking at old comedy sketches like Stephen Wright. Actually, that's what when I just said I'm gonna get a tattoo of me but taller. That's a Stephen Wright joke.
Stephen Wright is fucking hilarious.
Oh, I know.
Yo.
I like how he always talks like this.
Yo, he's the best.
You ever
I like to
listen
skate
or
on the other
hear
side of the
those
ice. I like to reminisce with people I don't know.
He said my wife asked me.
Granted, it
how
takes
long.
longer.
So my wife asked me how long I would be out. So
The
I
whole
told her
time.
The whole time.
That's right.
He just says fucking nothing. He just says.
I remember my grandfather, he had a rocking chair that rocked forward instead of backward, and that way you could fake interest in any conversation.
You ever listen to some of those Mexican word of the day jokes?
Mexican word of the day
what?
joke? Like we chew?
Yeah.
Like we chew?
Like you ever heard of liver and cheese from Mexican word of the day?
Liver and cheese, no.
No.
Some vato tried to sweet talk my ruca. I told him, "Órale, vato, leave her alone. She's mine."
Leave her and cheese. My favorite is wee chew. When the guy was begging his girl, was like, "Come on, baby, please, wee chew. She's like, "Nah, I'm not in the mood, man. Whatever." So he was like, "Please." She said, "Okay, last time. Wee chew a Merry Crema. Wee
Yeah.
Wee chew.
Wee chew. Wee chew a Merry Crema.
Merry Crema.
Merry Crema.
Creamer. I don't have any creamer. I don't even know her.
Kramer.
Oh. At least somebody got it.
Hey, Mr. Ford, what do you think about the latest Star Wars movie? Mr. Ford, what do you think about the latest Star Wars movie?
Oh, Mr. Ford. At first, I was like, "What are we talking about?" Why was I thinking of Henry Ford for a minute? I have no idea.
You're like, "What the hell?"
Well,
Ford.
I told George, I was like, I don't want to do the character anymore, and I think he's pretty much served his purpose. I don't see any reason that he has to still be there. So I was talking to the kid, and of course we can't talk to Carrie anymore. Rest in peace. But yeah, I said, maybe if we just stuffed a lightsaber right up my ass, then that would be all right with me, and I could move on and just continue, because then I need to do this other movie with a CGI dog.
It's paying a whole lot more.
Man, that's almost spot on, man. Oh my god, that is scary.
You see when David Blaine was in his house doing a trick?
Get off my lawn.
That shit was
David
hilarious.
Blaine?
David Blaine gets.
I didn't see that.
No.
And fucking Harrison Ford is standing there. He's looking all like confused and perplexed and shit. And then David Blaine, he keeps it weird. He's like, "So what do you think?" And Harrison Ford was like, "Get the fuck out."
Oh, I think I saw this. Yeah, it was like a staged thing. That's so funny.
Get the fuck.
It's so funny.
I was rolling.
Did you guys ever see this thing they staged with? It might have been like Jimmy Kimmel or something, but they're like, "We got to have like Chewbacca show up," and then he does in the audience, and he's like, "You come over here."
I think I
have
saw
to
something like
talk.
that.
Yeah, and he's like, "I can't believe it. How could you, my wife?"
Oh.
And it's something like that, where and then he just beats the hell out of Chewbacca. Chewbacca, I use air quotes, of course, but it's just pretty funny because, they're pulling pranks like that.
Jimmy Kimmel's got some good jokes, though. I mean, I have to admit, he's doing pretty good.
He's actually, it's kind of funny. Like when you see him in interviews, I personally think that he's just doing a characterization of himself, that he's now recognized that people like that he's grumpy.
Yeah.
But he's ridiculously funny, especially if you've ever seen him behind the scenes for the films. And like, there's a great little shot of him, Harrison Ford, of course, we're talking about here, is in Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. So Harrison Ford apparently loves rats. Maybe a lot of animals, but the point is he's like, "Oh, look at this guy," and he's like petting the rat or whatever.
Mhm.
So and he's just extremely quirky or whatever, you know. So I'm sure when he does his little grumbly thing, it's because he knows this is going to be hilarious and I can say whatever I want, you know.
Yeah, but then again, when they interview him about Star Wars, you can see that switch flip quick.
I don't know. I mean, I think he plays with it sometimes too. Like there's these little fun quips that you can see where someone says that to him. Like they oh yeah, there's like a famous clip of some interviewee or whatever interviewer, you know, and he's across there and he says, "So who actually shot first? Was it you or Greedo? Who shot first?" You know, something and he's like, I don't care. And it's just a famous clip of him just saying, I don't care, you know. And it's a good point because again, what people would think is if you're an actor and now they're still asking you about a work that you did 40, 50 years ago, you're sort of like, I've moved on. You guys haven't, but I have, you know.
Tired of that shit.
Yeah.
Don?
He's got to be super tired of talking about Star Wars.
Well, and I think, right, Kevin, everybody's going to react differently. Like at this point, he's probably just tired of fame, or he's playing the game and just saying, "Oh, just be funny because it's more fun to be funny." And then there's other people who are like, "Man, I super appreciate like the fact that I'm being questioned and like I have longevity with my life and I have riches beyond what I really need. I'm fine, you know." Because there's other people. Not
if money is all that you love, then that's what you'll receive.
Well, there are some actors genuinely hate their audience. They don't appreciate their fans.
Possibly, yeah.
No, they've done like.
Well, I mean,
and actually, what is it?
Totally possible. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones is like supposedly one of those that
really
doesn't care for fans. Really.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard that, but I'm not saying that I somehow refuse. I don't know one way or the other, but that's interesting.
And of course, it could just be maybe he's not tolerant of you know the press, maybe. But from what I understand,
stalkers or whatever.
Because there was an article on 40 to 50 actors who really don't care for fans, and
everybody's different. Yeah,
I know Joe Pesci doesn't want to deal with them.
Well, think about it. It depends on your personality. Like, I think everybody assumes that actors, because they're actors and they're successful ones for some reason or another, which usually boil down to luck plus talent, not just talent alone, is that they must be outgoing and they don't have any neuroses and they're automatically like their characters, you know? And
no, and everybody should respect certain things that happen, you know, within their lives. You know, if there's a private moment, hey, you know what? Respect their space, respect their privacy, and so forth. But at the same time, I mean, if you got somebody coming up and saying, "Hey, you know, I appreciate your movies. I love your movies." You don't want to be that kind of actor and say, you know, get the fuck away from me right now.
Well, it all depends what the hell's going on at the moment, because you could be like eating dinner with your family.
Exactly.
You know, like I've heard a lot of these stories on the Joe Rogan podcast, or a lot of these celebrities, they get caught in a moment. And don't forget, like, negativity is so much more like pervasive than positivity. So for instance, you could have like 99 encounters where people come up to you and they want the autograph and you give them the autograph, and then that 1 out of 100 you're like eating with your family, or you just had enough that day, or you've got a headache, or you came from the dentist and they worked on your tooth, who the hell knows. And then that person like that person goes and writes an article, you know. So the next thing you know is like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones is an asshole. Well, it's like, well, maybe not to the 99 people that got the autograph, they didn't go write an article, they just took the autograph home. But
no, that's true. But here's you got a really good point, Ant, because
he nailed it. Anthony nailed it.
Yeah, of course. But that's another thing, is that if you see him eating, I mean, I'm sorry, why don't you wait until they're done?
Well, also, you know, like I've never been that type. Like it's hard for me to relate to people who feel the need to go up to a celebrity. Like, for instance, the example I always use, and I've told Kevin this before. It's like, if I saw Brad Pitt walking down the street toward me, I would turn around and walk the other way. Like, I don't want to go up to any celebrity. Right. You know, like, that doesn't. What's that going to do for me? You know, like I would much rather talk to Matthew or one of my friends, because
That's a good point.
That's somebody, you know, I want to talk to, like not just some random person who's on TV or something.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
think of it like
I
this
actually-
real quick. Mundo, check it out. Like, think of it like this too. And I understand why some people would be like, well, first of all, I will say this. If I did run into Brad Pitt just randomly, I'd be like, oh, hi, you know, you're Brad Pitt. Obviously, I'm Matthew or whatever. It's nice to meet you. I like your work. That's cool. And that's probably all I'd ever say. I wouldn't be like, please stop in your whole life from me. Unless he says, oh, well, would you like my autograph? I'd be like, oh, well, absolutely. Thank you. Like, you see what I mean? I would treat him like a normal human being. But that's not my point, Mundo, is like, check it out. When's the last time that you saw someone who was like a clerk in a building who worked a very menial job and you were like, oh, you're this person. I would like your autograph and tell me, you know what I mean? You don't do that, but it's just because of the profession happens to have celebrity. And that's the only reason. Otherwise, they're just a human being, just like Kevin, just like you, just like Andy,
exactly.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Funniest video I saw was a video of Busta Rhymes running to his tour bus, and this lady's like, Busta Rhymes, can you stop for a picture? He's like, no, I can't right now. You know, I'll be right back, whatever. And she's like, come on, just stop for a picture. He's like, I really can't right now. I don't have the time, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, why do you gotta be an asshole? And he's like, you stupid bitch, I gotta take a shit. I gotta take a shit. I gotta take a shit. He did that fucking shit.
And can you imagine too, right, Kevin, is like, then someone could have said, wow, he's such a jerk. And it's like, well, that is sort of a jerk move. Like, he didn't have to. Well, what I mean is he didn't have to yell at her. He could have just left and ignored her. But then would have said, he ignored me. So you can't win, because if you say
you can't
something rude,
I actually appreciate what he said, because like I've thought about that sometimes in my life, where like, you ever been in those situations where, I don't know if it's like long meetings or like some kind of job you have or something, where you kind of wonder, like, do these people understand like human function? Like, for instance, if you were like in the army or something, I heard they only give you like 2 minutes to take a shit, but it's like, seems like some people don't understand what a human being, how a human being functions, when every single person must function similarly, right?
Well, I think what it is Anne, is like, think about it. If in some people's minds, if they get a chance to see it like a celebrity, then everything goes out the window, and all they're thinking about is, oh man, he was so good in that movie, and it was so good. And they're thinking the character, by the way, too, or, you know, whatever celebrity position that they're in, they're only seeing their image, not like who they really are.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So any sense of reality, Anthony, I think, is lost at that point. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to say this about anyone specific, but a girl that I used to know, she was very, you know, starstruck by the possibility of meeting any kind of star, and would go out of her way to try to make it so that she could meet stars.
Damn.
Imagine if you were so concerned about like meeting stars, like, you know, maybe you live out in Los Angeles or something, and you kind of have seen them before in certain places. Like, maybe there's an ice cream store, or maybe there's like some other place, a restaurant, where you've seen them. So you're going to get ready to go there. And so you make sure you shower and put on your cologne or perfume. You make sure that your hair is done and everything. And if you could see like a bird's eye view of the day, you would see that you just missed them because you were getting ready for so long.
That's a funny story.
That'd be funny. Like, maybe it would just happen over and over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've gone to a con, and I've met, you know, Lou Ferrigno, which was the original Hulk. What's his name? The one that played the original Flash, Barry Allen.
I don't know that dude's name, but the one that was in like the $1 Million 90s show.
No,
like the $1 Million an episode show from the 90s.
Well, the guy that played the Flash, the original Flash.
He had the big muscle suit on Sunday night.
Yeah, who you mean then?
He's Barry Allen's father in the new one.
He's Barry Allen's father in the new
I never knew that guy's actual name. Yeah.
So I got a picture with him also, and but when I was very, very young, my mom had taken me to go shopping at the mall here in Corpus, and actually I was fortunate enough that we ran into Dwight Yoakam, and I was able to get his autograph.
Dwight Yoakam.
The country music singer.
Oh, yeah, I was like, who the hell?
I thought it was some kind of sports star, and then when Kevin said he didn't know, I'm
Well,
like, wait.
you ever heard that song, Guitars Cadillacs?
I don't think so.
Oh, you might have been thinking of
God.
Yaphet Kotto.
Mundo, we don't live in Texas.
You don't have to live in Texas to hear his music, but okay. I mean,
I think
when Kevin turns on the radio, he hears 97.1, dropping the beat from the top of New York. He doesn't hear Dwight Yoakam.
No, I'll never name.
Okay.
But we'd love to, Mundo. If there wasn't a copyright strike against it, I'd tell you to play it.
I'm gonna have to.
He's not bitter or anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, when y'all come down, I'm gonna have to school you on some music, man.
Definitely.
Oh my god. What do you mean?
I love to hear
different
some
tastes.
good country.
Good old country music.
I'm not sure what this was in reference to anymore because it was like at 8:18 or whatever, or at least my time. Maybe they get pestered by them now that they can't stand it anymore.
Oh, the celebrities.
No, well, that stands true for some. I mean, you know, the fame has its price. I mean, you lose a lot of that privacy, and I actually feel sorry for some of them, some of those actors, because like the press gets too out of hand with that stuff. I'm sorry, but you know, they're people like you said. They're people just like us, and they. You know, God dang it, leave them the fuck alone. Jeez.
Yeah. Well,
I feel bad for like you know, A-listers when they they go through tragedy that becomes like a spectacle. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, let them fucking go through it. It's not news.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. And actually, I got to share something based on Edmundo's point, which is, and Anthony will resonate with this because, of course, he found out about me in any way from the start. Like the reason we're friends is because he saw my work on Star Wars stuff or whatever. But anyway, when I would suit up as Darth Vader, which also I'm pretty short, and so like my Darth Vader suit, I engineered it in a certain way so that I could be like about 6'3", and I'm actually like 5'6" or something like that.
I'm 5'5", so I'm shorter than you, man.
It's all good. That's not what I mean. I don't care about, we're short, we're tall.
No, I know.
But so then I'm in the suit anyway, right? So I'm in this thing. It's hot. It's crazy. It's insane. I would fight in that armor, and people can go and see videos of me doing that if they want. But the point is, it's enormous amount of work. There's electronics that I've wired into the chest box. I have a vocal changer, that's changing my voice towards Vader. I'm having to act a certain way. And like nothing really prepares you guys for that kind of thing when you're in a costume that is essentially like the most popular villain in history. No, it's true, because like you don't really think of it. Then I go to a convention and like people are pulling on me and they're like, "What? Oh yeah, it would happen fairly often. Not like
to stop you in tracks.
You mean like children hanging on you, kind of?
I mean, yes and no. Like adult, everybody, anybody.
Really?
Oh yeah. People would step on my cape. I don't think always on purpose, right? Because how often do you really look down on your shoes while you're walking around, and you might be like, "Oh my gosh, Vader."
What was the cape made out of? Could it rip, or was it pretty tough? Like people could step on it and it's fine, or it would rip?
Well, here's the thing. The point is, boy, it's so much more complicated. It was attached on my armor, and my armor I had lifted up over my shoulders so I could hold desktop speakers in my shoulders.
Whoa!
I was walking around with like, man, that's a problem, Anthony. You know me all these years.
Cool.
You've never seen that in person, but like, believe me, if I walked in the room with that stuff on, and I can have it be like, whatever, the whole like, the Force is with you, young Skywalker. And it would be on speakers, but you are not a Jedi yet. Or I could blare the Imperial theme. But anyways, I'd be doing all this stuff. And yeah, people are like, picture. And I can't hear them because of the mask. So there were a lot of people who were like, I heard you were rude and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then they're like, well, they said they started yelling at you saying, hey, take a picture over here with my daughter. But you didn't respond. I'm like,
like, I don't owe you that. You don't owe anybody that.
Well, plus he couldn't hear. He's got speakers right up his ears.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Is like
you don't have to
hear anything, and they don't know this. They just assume by looking at it. Oh, look, it's Darth Vader. If I whisper to him, he'll definitely hear me. Like but you don't think straight. Think about it. Like when people see Mickey Mouse or some big fuzzy character, they might say, "Hey, come over here for a picture," and then the character walks away, and they're like, "What a jerk!" And you're like, "They didn't hear you," you know.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens a lot. I mean, especially if they've got other things going on, you know, maybe they have an earpiece and says, "Hey, you need to go in such and such building for pictures and
Precisely.
whatever else," and they're not hearing you.
Precisely.
You got to make yourself really known and hear, because you know they don't know. They don't.
Most people would have an assistant, but sometimes I did events where I just simply did not. In fact, I usually put 100% of my costume would be a little bit of a lie, but I would put like 95% of my costume on, and the only thing I could not do was put on the neck brace myself. So I would just have some random person do that sometimes. Usually the like if I had an event coordinator where I was coordinating with them, I'd be like, could you put this last thing on? And they'd be like, sure, this is awesome, you know. And they were like, my God, you know, some people would be like, that's so cool. It reminds me of that scene in Empire Strikes Back where you only see the back of his head and his neck, and he's got the bolts coming out of him like Frankenstein. I had I made myself a piece like that because there wasn't one with this costume, and I was like, that's, you know, that'll be dope, because then people will be like, let me look up behind the mask, and they're like, oh, okay, dang, you know. So
still have the host get up.
Oh yeah,
you gotta throw that shit on, man.
Ed and Kevin are just going at it, man. Look at that.
Just
looking at some good drawings here. That's what I'm saying.
That shit on, man. Throw that shit on.
There it is, though. Sign up for
Brush and blasted through a lot of black. It was crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
And then you got to put stars and all that stuff later.
He'll do that like in digital form.
Oh no, I know that. I'm just saying, is that what's going on? Wow. I mean, it's like it sets the tone that people don't realize that it's like, oh, so he's got even more work with space, and it's like, yeah. Then there's like maybe the nebulae that he wants to throw in, a little this, little that.
You know, and that's another thing is that, you know, all the angles and like,
so I did some.
It's amazing how the
3D space. You mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, because all the different. How do I put it? I mean, just all the different angles that they got to come in and get around, from that black space to the white to the colored. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
exactly. Well, and then just to capitalize on that, like, don't forget that Kevin is trying to figure out, okay, I want to have it look like that she or he or whoever's in this suit, I'm assuming it's female, maybe, is further away from the camera. And again, camera just means our audience here, or the reader, than the dude that they're looking at, because she's sort of a little bit in the distance. That's what it kind of looks like. Whereas, you know what I mean, right, Mundo? There's vanishing points that Kevin is making, and obviously Anthony too. We just don't see his screen right now up in front and center. But the point is, you have things that are in the background, in the foreground, and then you have things that go from the foreground to the background, which means they either need to scale up or scale back. And like, if you do those perspectives incorrectly, it's gonna look janky. Right, Kevin?
Crazy.
Ooh, I just hit the sweet spot with the whiskey now.
I dropped all that.
It's hit the sweet spot now.
Did I not lock it down though, Kevin, with what you just drew?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it.
We're also trying to draw some like parallels here between some different works of ours. So this drawing that Kevin's working on has the two hands like touching each other, almost like the idea of like the Michelangelo painting.
Yeah, right. I can't do it right now, but
yeah. And then one other piece of artwork that Kevin made has the father touching the. Is that what it is, Kev? The father touching the baby's hand.
Baby's hand.
So we're always trying to do these dual parallels, because we have this twin idea, and we have all these like things we're trying to foreshadow later. So
right.
Trying to work that stuff into the artwork.
No, and that's totally ideal. Like, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I won't ruin anything with Diamond Dragons. But exactly, there's a lot of tie-ins, and I'm not talking about necessarily twins, but what I mean is having imagery that's mirrored imagery or connective tissue between one thing and another, even if sometimes it's subtle or it's more evocative with imagery. Like, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And because this is a comic, like there's certain things that Matthew has to do in his story differently than what we do in our story, because you know a lot of what I do for Albatross is visual, like it's a comic book, so I get to show you this. For you to do the same thing, you have to do it in words, or you have to make that image happen in my mind. The image that you have in your mind has to appear also in my mind.
That's why actually I find not just the fact that we're great friends and it's completely independent of art, or well, in this case, this kind of thing, drawings, but it's because think about it, we're in like the reverse situation. I've written down so much, but I have almost no artwork, and you guys have art all over the place, and you only need a little bit less pieces of storyline. Like you don't need to write like a whole actual volume 135,000 words book, you know. You'd be like, oh my god, right?
Exactly. Like I could say in a couple words like what I want to happen on this page, but that could actually mean, if that was going to happen in your book, that might mean 6 pages of writing. It could mean 2 pages. It could, you know, it's going to mean something different.
Yeah, like
or it could mean 2 words. Like I could say the character jumps from one side to the other. Now that could take my whole page, but you could just say the character jumped from left to right. You know? Exactly.
I know what you're trying to say, and believe me, that was present when you were helping me with the screenplay reading, the virtual read through of the Diamond Dragons thing, which is you're hearing these words, so you have to kind of imagine them as they go, but they're very sparse. The screenplay imagery is very quick and like snap.
It is, but I love the imagery in it, though. Really, because as a reader gets to picture it in a way that you may not be picturing it, but from my perspective of how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
And because everybody's different, they get a different perspective on what it should be or how it's going to be in their mind. So each person who reads it at a different level from a different perspective is really getting the benefit of what their mind is placing into their head as far as the imagery goes on how Diamond Dragons is being read, as well as Albatross Junction.
Exactly. In fact, I was going to mention it too to these guys that I'm like, for example, Anthony, if one day you were like, Matthew, we'd like you to try to write Albatross Junction in the book, which describes the comic book. It's like you could do that. I'm not saying you'd necessarily ask me, but my point being is, well, I mean, I would do it, but my point being is, right? Like, can you imagine like, it would be different, but it would still be identical. Isn't that weird to think?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Because I'd have to be like for example, what would I even say with this? I'd be like, as the moon or whatever that is, a planet, blah blah blah, loomed in the background. Donovan extended his hand. At this moment, if he reached 1 inch further, he would not be able to hold on to the spaceship. But she was almost out of reach. Their fingers were just about to touch or something like that. And then I'd be like, well, the satellite in the background or something. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
That's what I would have to do. And I just improv that, obviously. I was just looking at the picture going, but I don't know how I would write that. I would probably approach it differently. But like, I think you get my point.
And you know what's so funny? You guys are gonna laugh at me, but every time I watch an anime now on Netflix or whatever, I picture the story of Albatross Junction.
Mundo, you know which one you gotta watch?
I kid you not. I am actually seeing Albatross Junction.
Mundo, like I saw the. I feel like I saw the Dybbuk a little bit in that new Netflix anime called Pacific Rim Black.
Yes. That's
I don't know if you started watching that. It's only 7 or 8 episodes.
I have.
It's pretty good. I really enjoyed that. I told Kevin he'll have to take a look because they must do something with CGI or the computer where every monster looks so 3-dimensional and like well done.
Oh, awesome.
But see, that's the thing is that I am serious, man. I can picture
Deep Space
Albatross
Black.
Junction as an anime on Netflix.
Of course.
I really can.
That's the point.
It would work well. It would really work well.
Mundo, that's the entire point. Think about it. That's how J.K. got her books up there. That's how George R.R. Martin got his work up there. And that's how these guys could do it, especially because they also have the drawings along with the story.
Yeah.
And for me, like you can see that's kind of the point is like I have bigger emphasis on the story and less like drawing. But there's some artwork and things out there. And that's like how those things really grow and go somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, and Matt, I can see your book as a movie as well.
One day, you know.
One day.
I love this, right? TK said,
I pray to God
like
it comes.
Camera.
I pray to God that it comes true, man, because I personally, from what I've read, what I've seen, what we've talked about, you know, my heart tells me that it's more than possible to happen.
Well,
might be.
We'll see, because again, what it's all about is trying to fund these guys.
Yeah,
that's some of the hardest things in the whole world is that people don't just, you know, you can't just throw your work out there and just expect guaranteed success. Like we all have to work super hard.
Oh,
and then we have to get lucky.
know. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Primal came back.
Yo.
What movie were you watching, Primal? Nick Cage is the main character. Nice. My dude.
I don't think you can go wrong with Nick Cage. I think Nick Cage would be an awesome John Dobbs. What do you think, Kev?
I think so because he did well in that what was it? Jiu-Jitsu?
Huh?
I didn't see that one. Is that something new?
Okay, if y'all need to watch Jiu-Jitsu on Netflix.
It's
the title's got me already, so
yeah.
And
yeah, you need to watch it.
It's
pretty
called
decent.
Jiu-Jitsu?
It's pretty decent.
Trippy.
I don't want to tell you about the movie because I don't want to mess it up for you guys, but it's pretty decent.
All cool.
It out.
Let's just say there's a lot of martial arts in it.
That's awesome, man.
I'll tell you that much.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. You know, ironically, there should be some martial arts in Diamond Dragons to a point. I don't really describe it yet. I might put a little in. I mean, I kind of do actually, but like
dragon form, of course.
Well, it's no like mine's. They're not going to go there. They're going to be throwing moves. Like, think about it. They've got wings, so they do like wing slaps, tail slaps, or bashes, and spinning kicks. Like when it comes into claw work, you know, they're like.
Definitely.
They're sparring, but I mean, it's basically you might as well just think of it like boxing with dragons, Thai boxing with dragons.
That would be cool, man, because you know it's so funny because
so wait, it would just be MMA with dragons. We'll just call it that. And in the air, like we'll do dragons in the air. Yeah,
that's fun. We were watching Godzilla flicks all day long today with my boys at the.
They've been playing them all day.
Sweet.
I love Godzilla, man. It's the best.
We watched the Godzilla versus Space Godzilla and Godzilla, the final battles or something like that. Final
Godzuki.
He's a trip, man. The baby Godzilla.
Kev, look at what TK says. This is a precursor.
Is what?
This
precursor.
is a precursor.
That's right.
Precursor.
This is a precursor. I think it was called Eagle Eye. It's from 2000.
Eagle
Crap.
That's cool.
Oh, Primal says MMA with dragons. I'd watch it. Imagine that UFC title card.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I didn't want to go there right away in the beginning of all of it, because then people would be like, "Oh man, like is that it?" And it's just death match with dragons. I'm like, kind of, but so much more.
What would be the title? Is a golden tail or something?
Titan
versus
the
golden claw.
The golden claw. There you go.
Yeah. Well, their claws come into play with a lot of stuff later on too, to some extent. It's hard to explain. A lot's to be revealed later. I'm sure the same thing with AJ. Like, you don't reveal everything.
No.
Well, the thing with our show, we almost do.
Oh, really?
I mean, everything's kind of revealed in the live shows, little by little.
We figured out a lot of it here, but we haven't spoken about it sequentially. You know what I mean? So like, for someone to go back and piece everything we've said together, that'd be impossible.
But wait, I mean, almost already at this present point.
Yeah,
like
I think
the big reveal
a
at the very end is like really never going to be kind of talked about, but that'll save for the end. I told Matthew though, Kevin obviously knows, and we came up with that together and stuff like that. But all the details, all the main like broad strokes have kind of been talked about. But like Kevin said, just like maybe it was 2018, we had a show we talked about the middle. And then in the middle of 2019, we talked about the beginning, and then in 2020, we talked about so it's kind of like Kevin said, it is kind of all out there, but it's hard to, we
really piece it. Yeah,
I know you're
together.
saying.
We want it to be like free flowing, not to hide anything in the show, and really to be like the place if you really want to see somebody come up with a comic book and actually complete it on the air. That's like what we're doing here. So this is the one weird place where we don't hold anything back, but we get it when you don't want to reveal everything about your story too.
Especially in the early shows, we were still figuring out the story ourselves.
Oh no,
The
it's
first couple of shows. Crazy.
Dude, everybody does it differently. Like, that's true. I'm just saying, like, everybody has their perspectives or whatever. But I'd be like, man, you should save some things. But I also like that you're right, in a way they'd have to piece it together like a puzzle, and no one's going to go through all these things and do that. And
it's much easier just to buy the comic.
Exactly. It's like, find out. Yeah, I'm just saying, save some secrets. You might as well.
You have to.
No, but that's what I love about how they're doing it, because like they're right. Nobody's really going to go back and do this and do that just to get to that point. But
you bet.
If dragons are real,
ALBATROSS Junction is still trying to raise all their funds. So get over there. And
I bet that'd be a hell of a ride.
They need your money, and they need your help. If you don't help them, they're gonna die in space, because the sun
is gone.
It's freaking gone. It's just gone.
It's
gone.
Primal's a lot like Hagrid from Harry Potter. He says, if dragons were real, I definitely would want one.
Right?
He definitely is Hagrid.
That'd be a hell of a ride.
Do you have any idea how much it is to feed a horse?
Yeah, my sister knows. She has a horse.
This is all I'm saying.
She says it's a lot.
A lot.
So, Matt, are your dragons in your story more
proper?
Wyverns.
Oh, I didn't know the word.
Proper.
Wyverns.
Yeah. I mean, no, yeah, wyverns. Proper dragons. They have all four. Well, wait, because he says legs. It's like they basically have arms and legs, and their wings, of course. But like, they can go on all fours, but they can also walk just like us, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So they're, as they would say, bipedal dragons. I mean, if they needed to, they could walk on their hands. Like, they can do essentially if they needed to, like a cartwheel. They could plant one of their hands and throw a kick. They could throw a spin hook kick. They could wing slap you before hitting you with that kick. Like, they'd mess you up badly in physical combat, even if you're the same size as them and you were like not a dragon. And in close range combat, what people don't think about is, like, for example, if you have fire breath, you don't want to use that close range. That's like if Kevin was like, yo, Matthew's right in front of me, so I'll use this rocket launcher.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't make
And
sense.
I'd be like, so Kevin, do you want to live or die? And you're like, I don't care. Well, then go ahead. But it's like, if I was breathing my flamethrower at you, if you get close to me, now I got to fight you.
Which
Like
type of dragon in your story has the strongest flame?
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. Rainya is the only fire dragon that you meet in Diamond Dragons 1. It's not to say that there aren't other fire dragons that are present, but they're not accounted for, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I love Jackie's personality though.
Yeah, Jackie's unique in and of himself. In fact, all the dragons and their personalities are purposely completely unique, where it's so difficult to get them mixed up. It would be like you'd have to be a pretty big bonehead to get it mixed up.
Yeah.
Speaking of boneheads, those are the antagonists, bone and ghost dragons. Yeah.
Tail tipper dragon rip.
Yeah. And so like they also have spells, you know, they not all of them understand how to cast spells. Like, so it's kind of like a proper, you know, you might think fantasy that not everybody's a wizard. You know what I mean? So
it's funny, like
and there's different types of wizards, basically.
You know how like every character has like every story has staple characters.
Yes.
I wonder like which one of our characters is compatible to your dragon. So like who's like not the bully, but who's the tough guy?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Like, who's the tough guy? Like who's the no nonsense, I'll kick your ass type fucking killer?
Probably Titan, but I mean, I don't know if everything's analogous, but I could try to just explain some of them if you want me to. I could, but I don't have to. It's your call. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
but like, what would you tell me? Tell me about one of your characters, and I'll tell you if I know one on mine that has anything to do with that.
So like our like resident badass, I would say is Paul. Don't you agree? Aunt? Like she's no nonsense. She's not laughing at all your jokes. She doesn't like everyone. Like she's not like trying to make friends. She's just trying to get shit done. You know what I mean? She's not fighting from any fight. She doesn't run from a fight.
And she's also very like loyal to Donovan, who's our main character.
The closest to that, and then there's other ways I could say this, but it's just what came to mind is a dragon who is on the, we'll call them the good guys side or whatever you want to call. Her name is Siren, and yeah, she's pretty straightforward. Very like doesn't say a lot by design, is mysterious and kind of dark a little bit. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But also, yeah, it would be bad to fight her. It would be bad. You know, for you, not her. You know,
pissed her off. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
How about you have any like psychotic dragons flying around?
Psychotic. I like that.
Well, it's like they're a liability on your team. Like you're just scared of what they might do.
That's interesting.
I think it's Scarlash is like that.
I shouldn't comment on that one. And no, Scarlash isn't psychotic. He's actually pretty smart, but he has his own weaknesses. All the dragons in the story have weaknesses and strengths. So like no one's fully psychotic, but I would say one guy. well, I think psychotic would be too banal for their intelligence, like all of them.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean there can't be something, but I wouldn't do it with these characters. But there's other creatures that could be as such, you know what I mean, if need be. But there's nobody in the story that's fully like, and you know, like completely like, what the bloody heck is going on with you?
How about a mad scientist type?
Oh, sure, a mad scientist type. That would be a dragon called. His name is Gargigal.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
He's the brewmaster. He's like always mixing stuff, and he's getting down with the bud. I mean, kind of. You know.
In our story, that's Escher.
There you go.
Escher in our story. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Any like rogue general types? You know what I mean? Like someone who has like a lot of experience in war, but he doesn't really take sides. But people would love to have him. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
'Cause that's like a common character that I see in a lot of movies as well.
I will say this without revealing anything. That type of character comes, but not in Diamond Dragons 1.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's the only thing I can say. And if I say anything more, I'm going to start revealing things I should not. You know? Oh, and then look at someone. TK says an amethyst-born dragon legend egg. Yeah, it's funny. Of course, as you guys can probably imagine, without there being any real reveals, each dragon may or may not have some sort of alignment with gem type. Maybe.
That's cool because the amethyst is my birthstone.
Oh, well, then you're at least one of the dragons is, I believe that's Violetta. And Violetta is very interesting in the sense that, and maybe we'll see if you guys have a character like this. Do you guys have a character who really is just unlikable in the beginning and or might be through the middle and or to the end, hashtag question mark?
I would say Bomag. Like, Kev, do you agree with Bomag?
Yeah, I think Bomag is gonna be likable because he's gonna come off as like just a brutal, no nonsense type of guy, like a Wolverine type. You know what I mean? Just without all the bells and whistles. In my opinion, I think talking long run wise, I think Donovan is unlikable, man. He's just dry. He just had, you don't really know what his story is. You don't know what his end game is. And he's doing a lot of shit that can affect a lot of people. So it's just like, I think he's gonna feel like an asshole once you read like shit that he's doing over and over again. In my opinion, anyway.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I kind of think
Dobbs was his heart.
Kind of reveal that in the first issue, even because it's like in the panel that I'm showing right now, the dialogue is them talking about like the creation of the Dybbuk, basically.
Yeah.
And we see the Dybbuk in the first pages of the issue killing people, like with disregard. So I kind of think like even that's kind of present in the first issue, which is like, wait a second. But like also, I think they mentioned too that, you know, he's also fed a lot of people. I kept a lot of people from starvation.
I think even that he's done that just because he needs support. Like, let me keep these people happy. Let me feel like I'm leading them in the right direction because I need their help. I need them to do things that I can't do. You know what I mean? I don't think he's really saving people. He doesn't give a fuck if you die.
He's just doing it out of necessity.
Yeah, I think that's how he's real calculated that way. Where Bomag appears to be just like a barbarian, he's just not as sophisticated as Donovan, but I think he has more heart to the point where he's not gonna let this man starve. If he's walking out like, yo, this guy's clothes are old, like get him some new fucking clothes. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like he does more of that stuff. With Donovan is just like, yo, what do you do? I don't really need you. I need my gear more than I need you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. So this guy might die. Like, good luck.
I like this. This is cool to hear the designers talking about characters and being like, this is
also, we have like this like over, I guess, I don't know, some kind of almost an overlay on top of Bomag, which is the fact that he is he's from a different era. So in the story that our story takes place, it's like all these people are, you know, of a certain age.
I think I know what you're
they've
getting
lived
at.
through a certain age. And Bomag, actually, the second trailer, which we haven't made yet,
he's like cryogenically.
Yeah, he's the guy who's cryogenically frozen. He opens his eyes in the second trailer. And this is really 300 years later. So he's kind of from this, you know, we have to write him from the perspective of what would a military guy of 300 years ago, how would they act in this new age?
You know how I think of Bomag?
I'll tell you why real quick, Kevin, though that's ironic, is I have a character that has a similar type of thing that what you just described. And this is the very first time I've ever heard it. So it's really cool for me because I'm like, ooh, great minds think alike. I'm not trying to be weird about both of us, but I'm saying I like that idea. And it's so funny that I actually put something like that into it, but it's not a Diamond Dragons 1.
Interesting.
So you know what? Like my view on Bomag, Ant, that I've always thought this. Yeah, I see him as like like he's a mean homeless person. He has no you know what I mean? Like I don't know, you come across a mean homeless person will rob you, they might stab you out of like necessity, you know what I'm saying?
Copy
But
that.
when they get around other homeless people, they dish it out. They're like, yo, this is what I got today. Here, take
Copy
some.
that.
You know,
Robin Hood's.
Yeah,
Robin Hood,
Kevin's
yeah.
absolutely right, because there's an aspect of what I said a minute ago about him from being a different time, which like a big part of that is a disassociation with the current time. So that's part of, like in the very opening scene of Bomag, when he is revealed in our story as one of the main characters, he is found, he actually kills someone.
Copy that.
For really no reason at all, other than
he just establishing dominance. That's all he was doing. That's a big reason, because no one knows who the fuck he is. Where's he from? Where'd you come from?
And this is a lovely parallel, because this is where our characters, although similar, are also totally different. And this reminds me of how good storytelling is sometimes the ingredients themselves will feel like, oh, that person copied that thing, and you're like, yo, it's like saying, dude, did you make chicken marsala? And they're like, yeah. It's like, dude, I just did that. You're copying me. They're like, yo, pepper and chicken and cilantro or whatever the hell you're going to put in it. Those are just ingredients, son. You can't put a patent on that. But when you assemble them all together into your own different orders, that's when you get things like Albatross Junction, or maybe even Diamond Dragons, because they might build upon like, well, this is a love story, but no. Or someone might say, this is a old guy from the old ways meeting with young guy of the new ways, but whatever. You know what I mean?
But see, I love the character development. See how everything leads into certain characters of how they're going to be at a certain time.
That's character arc.
I mean, you pretty much have to understand your characters before you understand how they're going to act in your story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to quote Walter White, but you're goddamn right.
Exactly. Exactly right, Kevin. 100% right. If you don't know your characters, and you story,
exactly, you don't want them to act out of character. You know.
Well, unless, and that's actually funny you mentioned that, right? Unless it's time for them to subvert audience expectations, if not in that moment, but maybe that's part of their arc. That finally, like for example, and I mean, I'm kind of cutting my train of thought, but hear me out. Say we establish a character in the beginning, and they're like, I will not kill him, Kevin. And you're like, dude, you kill him right now, otherwise he's gonna take us out. I'm like, I will not kill him. I'll subdue him. And then we go through that whole story where this one guy is like, I won't kill anything. I won't kill anything. I won't kill anything. I won't kill. What do you want to bet? By the end of the film, Matthew kills somebody. And that it's for good reason. It's not just random. That finally that happens, and they're like, damn it. And then the other guy's like, dude, I know how much it meant to you. I'm sorry. Now you understand. Now you understand.
Yo, you guys gotta watch that movie, man, that I mentioned on Netflix, Space Sweepers. That shit it's just a fun movie, man. It just reminded me of a
That's a movie. I was looking for that, and I thought maybe you had said the name wrong, because I saw something else called Space something, and I was like, did he mean this? But
Space
no, I didn't see
so,
Space Sweepers.
So there's a scene where
Wheelers, Space
Sweepers, like sweepers.
Sweepers? No, I'm just now we'll all be confused.
Yeah, so there's a scene
Sleepers?
Where like the fucking like the guy that's making things happen, he's making like, you know, another like some type of settlement and outer space that only like the top 1% are going to, right? So of course people are fucking upset at that, because everyone is poor and dying on Earth and shit like that. So like people like a few reporters go to his office, they're like, yo, but the only thing you're not taking is fucking people, this and that, blah 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 blah. And he's like, yo, people, and this guy's eating he just came from like farming some shit, because he's like growing real food again, and his hands are all dirty. He's eating a sandwich, and the people like he catches like them, they're looking at him kind of funny. He's like, oh, he's like, this isn't dirty, like this is not dirt, this is soil, this is life. He's like, humans are dirty. Like, this is why I'm not taking humans, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then one guy comes out, he's really arguing, going back and forth. He's like, he sounds like a purist. He sounds so pure of heart, shit like that. And then like 5 minutes later, they're in the back office, and some woman like attacks him. Something happens. And then the guy, the leader who's making shit happen, he gives a pistol to the guy that was just saying, you know, you're not taking people with you. He's like, listen, take her out, and you're up there. You're up with us. I'll give you a chance. You're with us. And the guy's, he's like, I can't do this. And that. Long story short, he shoots the woman. And then the dude is like, you see, people are fucking disgusting. Like you're a disease. Like look what I just made you do. Out of hope, you fucking use. Like you're a loser. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, take this fucker away. Like get him out of here.
That's hard, man. Like manipulation.
Harsh. Yeah, it was harsh, but it was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Primal's saying any lazy dragons that are chill but will kill you if you bug him too much.
Yo, I like that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite character types too. Someone who just like plays it cool and chill, but like they have all these skills they rather not use, and then at the end, they get fucked up to it where they just come out of it.
Yeah,
I kind of see that as Kincaid, Kev. What do you think?
Kincaid is real.
I would say with the dragons thing, let's see. I would say definitely Llewellyn, definitely Nitrozite, but then again, he's the main bad guy, and you might as well compare Nitrozite to like Darth Vader.
He is somebody that hates when you bug him, though.
What's that?
He is somebody that hates when you bug him.
Yeah,
precisely,
for sure.
But calling any of them lazy, none of the dragons are lazy. They don't afford it, and it's not part of their society. So no, for the most part. But there's sort of an exception, but not exactly. Really, it's just mostly no.
Another character that I like, the character that comes across as lazy, but he's actually too smart to be happy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like someone who's just miserable because they're just too smart and they get exactly what's going on. And like, it's almost like hopeless. Like our existence is fucking hopeless. But whatever they set out to do, they do it successfully.
Because
I don't think we have that kind of we don't have that character in our story, not yet anyway.
We have that character writing our story.
Yeah.
We have what?
That's an important thing too. Like, right? Sometimes you write characters that are pieces of you, but not actually you. But then sometimes you could be like, this is something I want to say to people through me, kind of, but it's one of my characters. So it's sort of like, interesting. Like, again, I have this wizard dragon in mind. His name is Artemis. And Artemis is basically like Gandalf and whatever, Dumbledore, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Morpheus, Do you want to know what it is? But he has quotes that he sometimes say, and he's a blind wizard. He's a blind gold dragon, and he'll say things like
silence is not emptiness. There are some lessons which sound cannot teach.
So it's that kind of thing. And it's like, ooh, how interesting, He's talking about sound.
Yo, going off on a whole other tangent real quick.
No, please.
I was looking up because we're doing all these space scenes, and I was always curious about why you don't see stars. Like, we see a bunch of stars from our perspective on the ground, but in space you don't see that many stars. And then it was explained perfectly how light needs something to bounce off of, and in space there's nothing. It's just so this was the first time the word space, I felt the gravity of the word space. It's just space. It's just fucking space. Like that's it. There's nothing there. It's crazy.
Interesting, Kevin. Dude, I got to tell both you and Anthony about this, but I don't remember if I ever did. There's a program out there, and this will be great for the viewer, so this is totally pertinent. There's a program called Space Engine or just Space Simulator. And I don't remember exactly what it is, but y'all should look it up. Maybe I'll be able to put a link to it or something like that. But I think it's spacesimulator.org or something. Totally free you can buy a version of it that's like super upgraded. You don't have to, though. You can use the whole thing for free. It is literally the universe mapped with about as many stars and data that they have about stars, meaning millions of them, all logged into this program, so you can go and visit everything. And I mean,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Earth, Saturn, Polaris, Bellatrix, you name it, go there. This nebulae, this moon, you name it, it's there. And it's crazy because then you learn kind of some orientation of like, holy crap, how many light years is that away? You're like, when you go in because you're speeding from one star to another. And let me explain what I mean by this point too, Kevin. There are some places where you get out of the galaxy. Like once you get out of the Milky Way, don't forget there's other galaxies. In between those galaxies, Kevin, is nothing.
Just
So-
nothing. Yeah, just space.
Can you imagine being a star in the middle of nothing? And if there
Nothing.
was life there, you would never assume
Never know it. Yeah.
any other stars existed. Think about that.
That that's fucking crazy. And to bring it back to like what I was just saying, like it I think while I was looking things up, I found like a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson explaining it as well. And, you know, he gets dramatic in his explanation sometimes, but it's entertaining as fuck. And the point he made was remember the experiment they did with lasers? Like we wouldn't see the lasers until the teacher like clapped the chalk erasers together. Then it had something to bounce the light off
Just
of.
because you don't see something
Doesn't mean
it
it's
ain't
not
there.
there. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy.
That's the primary lesson of Diamond Dragons. Just because you don't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. Now, that said, that's the lesson of Diamond Dragons 1. And I'll only barely, just by us having this conversation, be able to hint to what do you think the other lessons are in 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Pretty sick.
We'll find out.
Nutty, man. Yo, it's pretty funny. So the phone I use to broadcast my drawing,
yeah,
I start out at 100% and it always dies at 2 hours, so it kind of works out for us. It died damn near midnight. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's this nose. It knows it's time to fucking go.
It knows it's time. I guess you can't maintain it being plugged in at all, right? It's
no.
too.
But the problem is because since I'm in StreamYard, if I don't have my headphones plugged in, you can kind of hear it. Creates an echo.
Yeah, there's no way for you to like.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I can't mute it completely.
Primal says my favorite character type is like Spider-Man: relatable problems, likable, funny, extraordinary, everyman.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Funniest thing, by the way, with that term,
hey, is this what you were
all the way back from a medieval morality play called Everyman, and that play was written, I believe, in like 1200 or 1400 or something like that.
Oh shit, that's pretty crazy. Is this the Solar System VR?
VR. I don't know what that is.
Solar System VR. You can put that on like a cell phone and put it in those glasses.
That's the same program that I know of, but that's awesome. Like, there you go.
Kind of travel around or something.
You get like an infinity mirror effect with this, which is crazy.
Yeah, I've been taking my daughter. She's going to be 7 in a few amount of days. Shout out to my daughter. Happy birthday! I love you, Caitlin.
Happy birthday.
I don't know if she'll ever see this. You never know. But I always take her on that program, and she's requesting it every time I see her because I get to see her on weekends. So it's terribly wonderful because she knows more about the stars and the universe right now at about 6 and 7 years old than I ever did when I was, say, in 20s. Think about it.
Wow.
How much did you really know in your 20s about the whole solar system? How much do you know now?
Yeah, not
How much do young people
know? Was that
now?
due to you?
But imagine growing
like
up with the internet at your hands.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What's that? I missed some of that. Sorry.
Like I was asking, was that due to you teaching her about the stars?
Definitely. You mean that she learned? What do you mean?
Yeah, right.
Guaranteed. Like, there's no way that she would have learned a lot of the things that I taught her without me teaching her those things. I mean, don't get me wrong. She learned some things in school, but she didn't learn the capacity and like, for example, I taught her what a light year is. And, some people say, you can't teach that to a 6 or 7-year-old. I'm like, sure I can. Why would I not be able to?
Yeah, because like Kevin said, you could get interested in something these days and be a kid and go home and just type it in to the computer.
Exactly.
Find everything about it.
And you couldn't back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, and talking about what the kids can learn in school, I was always annoyed about this whole new math that they're learning. But today, my own kids, they blew my mind. Like, they're doing mental math now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep up with some of the shit they were asking, the shit they were throwing at each other, and it was insane. Like Leah, my little girl, let's say, she'll call her brother, be like, hey, what's 57 plus 23? And he would just stop.
Oh, because
then you throw out the answer. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what did you just ask him? I was like, did you just figure this out? I was like, what? They just kept going back and forth. It was nuts.
I was teaching my daughter that same kind of thing too, because I literally was trying to teach her that 57 is basically close to 60, so just skip 57. Yeah. And then 27 is basically close to 30. So just skip all that. And I'm like, what's 60 plus 30? And at first she's like, and I'm like, well, what's 6 plus 3? And she's like, 9, Daddy. And I'm like, what's 0 plus 0? And she's like, 0. And I'm like, you just answered the question. And she's like, no,
It's pretty wild, man. They're getting pretty crazy with it, man. It freaked me out.
TK asked real quickly. He says, water dragons. Yes, there's 2 sisters of the sea in Diamond Dragons 1. Are there any? Yes, there are. Favorite Dragons games? Smaug.
Oh,
Dope.
where they're just large, powerful beasts. Like in the Lord of the Rings, I guess you could say prequel books. You know, the books that took place like in the first and second age and stuff like that. The dragons didn't have wings, so they were like they were just serpents only. And then what's the main bad guy? Not Sauron, but the one above him. He kind of, I think, morphed them into dragons and stuff that actually could fly, like Smaug. Oh, he says happy birthday from Random Raptor on the internet.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Right on. Much
Nice,
appreciate it. As the dragons would say, primal, they'd say, Chiong, Chifoy, Yelaha. You know.
And not so random. We've known Primal for a couple of years now, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm familiar with Primal. I've seen you before, right? I try to remember a lot of the guests on here. You know.
Primal's the guy. Primal's the guy.
So it looks like, yeah, Kev, you're right. It looks like at midnight the campaign turns over. So now it says 11 days left on Indiegogo campaign. So yeah, it might be the 4th. You're right, like April 4th or something. We'll have to do a show to close this out. It looks like it's doing okay.
We're getting there.
It's at 62% of the goal. So check that out. The link should be in the description there, and you can go there and check out the trailer or look on our channel for the trailer. You can see some art on here and all the different tiers that we offer.
You get stuff too. Look at that, guys. You don't just make a donation and that's it. It's like you get stuff. Come on, get your stuff.
Get your stuff. Seriously. Primal, man, thanks for stopping by, brother, man. Have a good night.
Thank you, Primal. Always enjoy you having on, man.
Good to see you, TK. We're going to close this down. And
with one of Kevin's jokes. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah, Kevin is going to get his act ready.
Jokes in there.
For us one night, I think. He'll give us a sneak preview at least. I know he will. So today's Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. We do the show every single Monday and Wednesday. You can come back on Monday for Mundo Monday. That's where we probably will be inking pages, some more pages from Volume 1, while we try to ramp up the situation, getting all the inks done so we could just color. Now, Kevin colored a lot of the pages already. I would say we have roughly 30 to 40 pages done. And then volume or issue number 2 has to be penciled, inked, and colored. So stick around during these live shows for that over the next 60 days or so. We're going to be finishing that up so we can get this book out in June, because June is this June is actually
around the corner.
Coldest June on record. Albatross Junction comes out. So
love it.
Yo, and I think I'm gonna give you all this shit back and then just pencil and fucking ink what I come up with.
What do you mean give me the shit back? What does that mean?
All these pencils that you gave me?
Right.
Because I'm not gonna get to inking these and then get to drawing something else and then get to pencil. Those. That's not gonna happen.
That makes sense.
That's
yeah,
realistic. So I'm gonna give you your artwork back. You're gonna ink the shit.
And then what are you saying about yours? You're gonna pencil.
I'm a pencil and ink. I'm a pencil and ink.
Okay.
Right into the ink.
That makes
sense. You see, folks, you're hearing it first right now on how they're doing
all this stuff.
Like
development.
I knew all the stuff we didn't have yet, but then Ant left me like a realistic message, like, yo, we got this stuff left and we have 60 days. So if you did 1 page a day, which it's not going to happen. That doesn't happen. A page a day is not going to happen. He's like, then we have that's still like 30 pages left to like get it all finished. And I was laying down. I was like, what? What?
He sent me a message back. He's like, that's a little scary.
Yeah,
that's a lot of scary.
It's so hard. Like, you know what I mean? When you have deadlines, it makes it hard, and especially when you have like deadlines that sneak up on you, almost like
for someone like me or Kevin, he's like procrastinating type. Deadlines. You need deadlines for someone like us, like an artist type. Otherwise, you'll procrastinate till the last week.
So, you guys could make even a fun thing out of that too. You'd be like, every time we miss a Dybbuk deadline, we got to bring out the Dybbuk chomping or something like that.
I could make a GIF like that goes across the screen. And you know what? If we started using Streamlabs, which is a different program, I would have access to more things like that. So I don't know.
Oh no, access to more toys for Anthony. I'm not sure we can all handle it.
More buttons for me to push.
More buttons for him to
more Mundo animations.
Mundo Mondays.
Crazy.
That's
all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being here tonight.
Novel, Volume 1. You better donate, or I'm gonna donate my fist into your face.
No, it's not a threat. if you can back it, but we appreciate any support you might give, including just watching the show is enough for us. So thank you so much.
I take it back. I'm not going to punch anybody in the face.
He's joking, of course, but I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying.
Stab him in the face.
Yeah, right. Anthony's like, great, Matthew. You alienated all of our guests. I'm just kidding.
Snap, crackle, pop. Come on, people. Give them some love. Let's get them to their goal, man. Let's get them to their goal. These guys are working hard for it. Get your book. Come have a drink at El Mundo's. Have some fun with us on the channel. Come hang out with us.
Share the video.
It's good.
definitely do that.
Nice, though, these pages look really nice. Like when you get to see them like together, inked and shit.
Ooh, look at that, people. Look at that, man.
You know what that is? That's
yeah.
Kev, I'm still waiting for one page to dry. I got so much ink on this one page before I put it in there.
That's awesome, good. Guys. It looks fantastic.
Looks good, man.
Great work.
Yeah, so like, I mean, the page I just did is already dry, and I went heavy with the ink. What ink are you using, bro?
I used that pen that we got at Michael's the last time that has the gob of ink in it, and you squeeze it. And I think I let too much out one day on this one page.
Black Rapidograph India ink, brother. This is it right here. This is the truth.
I got that too.
You know what? I gotta send a clip to Kevin where there's like an audio clip where it goes, he goes hard in the paint. Oh,
he goes hard in the paint. He goes hard in the motherfucking paint.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, man, this is it. This is it.
I'm gonna make that audio clip. I should just make it now. I bet I can figure it out.
Let's do it, brothers.
Yeah,
man.
Kev. Speaking of audio clips, I want the clip from Troy that I think his name is Menelaus, right? Or is it the brother? Like the brother says, "Tonight I'm gonna dine to your bones" or something like that.
Tonight we dine in hell.
That's from Troy.
Yeah, Troy. Okay, so you know how Menelaus is the king?
Yeah,
I think is his brother threatens Legolas, right? I forget his name. Legolas, actor from
yeah.
Hector's little brother.
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom. Yeah, he threatens Orlando Bloom and he says, "Tonight I'm gonna dine to your bones." We need that clip because I'm gonna play that.
I hated that movie at first just because they took Legolas and just made him like the worst. I mean, I understand. I knew it's not Legolas, like, you know, but it just coming off of like the whole Lord of the Rings.
Like you come off of Legolas
and then
seeing
this guy like cowering. I was like, bro,
cowardly. But he comes into his own at the end, and he's actually the one that they show hitting Achilles in the heel. So
the worst.
He kind of does that.
That was the worst. That made it worse.
But he's also protecting the women. Like he gets the women out the back door.
He gets all the women
in the castle. He's like, "Oh, we go down the path and save everybody."
Hector. That's the best part of the movie. You know, it's another. No. What was that?
What's Mundo doing?
I'm like listening to some music real quick.
What was that? Oh, that was just like a random sing along. That was crazy. You know what's funny? For some reason, I've been coming across a lot of early Brad Pitt movies, and he was another one that was he was horrible, bro. Like he was tragic. He was tragic at acting. I don't care what nobody says. Like I watched Cool World, like it was on at like 4 a.m. some random night, and I was like, this guy.
Oh my god, Cool World.
He sucks. he was just a pretty boy. You know what I mean? But I think he fell into it.
What about Thelma and Louise?
Yeah.
I like that movie. That movie's amazing.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Well, that's far later.
I think he was cool by then. I think he was decent by then.
Yeah, he was decent.
I just brought that up because I remember the last time we were talking about Keanu Reeves just being terrible, and he's the fucking man right now, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yo, like I said, I loved him in 47 Ronin, man.
No way. No way.
So I gotta figure out how to send this clip to. I guess the only way is by email. So yo, Kev, I'm gonna hit you up with a clip.
Nice, nice.
It's just audio. It is gonna be a perfect audio clip when you want to say you go hard in the paint. It's
Go
pretty simple.
hard
It
in
just
the
goes.
paint.
He's got children of many colors. He goes hard in the paint.
Shit.
Hard.
I thought you were talking
Ain't
about
hard, live by
Waka
the
Flocka.
brush.
No, it's actually a rap from called "Let the Record Drop" by Sho Baraka featuring Catalyst. So,
Nice. Nice.
straight up. It's good music, but it's hard to explain what it is. But anyways, I'll just send you that clip.
I'll look out for it, man.
Well, because you'll like it. That'll totally be the the clip you're gonna want to like drop. And then I'll
Yeah, I'm
throw
gonna send it
Listen
to
to
Ant. Put it as a button.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Do
All
it
right,
too.
fellas, I'm get the hell out of here. Wake up and do more work. Good times.
All right. Awesome. Well, have a good night, everybody. Thanks so
You
much.
too.
Thanks for hanging, fellas. Later on.
Yeah,
Bye.